Let's do a show. It's Tuesday, March 26, 2013, and this is Super Gaming Best Friends. I'm Josh Lee. I'm joined by Justin Lacey.
What's up?
And Ethan Moses.
That is me.
A couple of my best gaming pals. We're from HorribleNight.com. If you didn't know, it's a great website about video games. Check it out.
I recommend it.
Yeah, it's great.
So since last time, it's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So I'm guessing we all played a whole lot of video games. Well, you guys did.
You didn't?
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
So if you're watching the video version of this, you see a different room, maybe. Maybe you can't tell because this camera angle is not the greatest. We had some camera issues beforehand. By the way, USB sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of. I finally made the transition from wireless sucks, but yeah, USB. That's my new pain point.
Like serious bandwidth issues when it comes to webcams. And it doesn't even really matter what brand. You can get cheap, crappy ones, and they don't take as much USB bandwidth. But you have most motherboards only have 1 or 2 USB controllers on them, and you can saturate the bandwidth on those real fast. And so we've always had problems with that on the stream system here. But I could not get a second webcam to work anywhere on. I mean, I have a separate controller installed in there. Still wouldn't work. So it's just extremely frustrating. So anyway, so if you're looking at this, we basically moved half our
studio.
Well, the entire building, our entire home.
Quite the undertaking.
2 rooms got completely swapped. That's a lot of work.
It looked really simple on your 3D model.
I know,
you just said this room's here now, and this room's over here. It's done.
Right. Yeah. I modeled it in SketchUp beforehand.
3 weeks later.
I don't have a day job, so. Okay, but then also my mother's moving, so I've been helping out with that too.
A lot of manual labor.
And it's cool. I mean, it's actually been really fun. She got a great new place, but also, Job Hunt has been going, and the research for the arcade cabinet has been taking up a lot of my time. Sometimes, instead of playing games, I just want to read more about building that, and that's it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and you gotta if you don't do your research beforehand, you'll get halfway into the project and you'll just get bogged down. I don't want to do that. I want to be ready, and then I'm gonna go 3 days, boom, done, and then you'll come over and it'll be hey, you want to play some arcade games? And
that'll be a great day. And then we won't ever stream again because we'll just play an arcade games.
No, we can. Well, I'm gonna set up a HDMI output.
Can we use the Predator cam?
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, the shoulder cam. We came up with this idea when we thought we weren't gonna have a place to put the cameras in here. We thought we were gonna have 2 cameras mounted on each other's shoulders, like Predator style, and then did a little test.
Also, the chest cam.
If you remember, Ethan one time put one on his. Yeah, the chest cam was good too. Ethan put one on a hat once.
That didn't go well.
Mm-hmm. It didn't go well for awful. Ethan, but it was really
no.
It was a good angle though. I thought it was fun. It feels like a you had a GoPro or something strapped to your head. I thought if you'd done parkour in the room, that would have been a little more entertaining.
Well, we talked about not even doing the cast and just doing parkour, but it wasn't Justin. I was I don't know. So yeah.
I have a hard time landing that 720 backflip off of this wall over here.
But the effort you put into it is enough.
Satin finish.
That's I was proud of you.
It just didn't fit our target demo. That's all I have to say.
So, but yeah, Ethan, you played some board games this past weekend, and I want to hear about it.
Holy shit! Yeah, well, we played. I played a bunch of board games. Actually, I
with
played
Germans and Dutch people, right?
Well, no, Finnish and Canadian.
Close. I was so close.
But I want to go back actually a week before, and my wife and I played a whole lot of the Resident Evil deck building game, which is awesome. We played literally for I think 5 or 6 hours.
Did you? Is that one-on-one, or how were you? How'd that work?
Yeah, we were playing one-on-one. Yeah, it worked fine. It's probably it goes. It could take a little bit longer one-on-one. And obviously it's a 4-player game. It's probably a lot more fun that way. But we had a great time. I mean, it's great. It's easy to learn, and I kind of get into it a little bit more because I like Resident Evil. but she liked it too. It's numbers and kill stuff. She's actually very like headstrong about going into the mansion, because you can choose to go into the mansion, which you randomly pick a card, and then it could be a monster and you got to fight her or whatnot. And she's always fucking going in there. It doesn't matter what sort of odds are stacked against her. So I'm kind of proud of her in terms of that. But this past weekend, we played Zombies, which is a tile game. And I'd never played it before. I'd seen it in the stores, and little did I know that. And Josh actually told me, later, that it's kind of a broken game. And we played for about 3 hours, and we just, there's certain cards that benefit you, but there's certain cards that like basically fuck your opponents. And it got to the point that we were just doing that continuously, and one of them was sending you back to the very beginning. Huh?
Nothing. Keep going.
Well, no, not sexually fuck, like mentally fuck. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's much
better.
better.
Like not this as much as like this. Well, I mean, that's kind of this is the brain, and you're kind of doing this.
And then all the people are inside of it.
There's in the church, in the steeple, look at my people. Whatever it is. Yeah.
Wow, man, I haven't seen that in a long time. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, no, Justin. That was copyright Justin. 2013.
I just planted the seed in Ethan, and
I thought we weren't talking about that. Anyway, so you're playing Zombies.
Zombies. It took us a really long time to play, but actually, I got into it. I actually created a backstory for my character, and it caught on.
Of course.
Which was good. Everyone kind of started off kind of mildly enough. Firefighter, whatnot, and actually, mine was Hank. He was an African American school teacher and also a former Navy SEAL who had just seen his whole class of children eaten alive by zombies, and he wanted revenge.
A terrible
and that's
Navy
how
SEAL.
I played the whole game.
Why
I
did
just
he
went
save
right
any
at
of
the
them?
zombies, rolled the dice, died a lot, but I stuck to it, and no one was offended by my my role playing in that game.
Just so everybody knows, that game doesn't have any role playing in it. That's an Ethan variant.
I completely.
And you should
there's really no reason. Actually, all the characters that you can pick look exactly the same. They're just different colors.
You should do a PDF of your variant rules and put it on Board Game Geek, because people will download it. They'll take it seriously, and people give you real feedback, and I bet they enjoy it.
I'm just surprised that you don't use you have a set cast of characters that you use on a regular basis on just about every video game.
Yeah, wait a minute.
So why new ones for board games?
Because I'm actually, I don't know if I should announce this now, but I'm actually looking to expand my character list. I'm looking to expand my universe.
Did someone get thrown out?
There might be alternate universes. No one's getting thrown out. I just realized
wait for the
here's the thing,
crossover.
my stable cast of characters I put into situations that I think they'll do okay in. Chainsaw Murphy was actually a risk putting him into the War Z, because that's kind of a kill-friendly game. But Zombies is a game where you're going to die a lot. I didn't really want to put like Brass or Chloe Moonshine or Tex for X-Men or Mr. Richard MD into that situation because it's just a bit much. Just like we don't put Mr. Dave, we don't hang Mr. Dave out. I mean, you got to be cautious with your fantasy characters. But no, I am looking to grow my stable. Looking to maybe add 4 to 5 new characters into it, so stand by for that.
So like if they survive Zombies, you try them out in another board game, and if they survive that, maybe they become the video
or another
game character?
situation. Or like in a game, like in a video game, I'll be like, okay, you've made it to this level. Let's go. Let's see what you got.
All right, Ethan. So I actually have Zombies and a bunch of expansions, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but it was like I was always kind of looking for I really wanted a co-op zombie game, which Zombies is not. You try to play it co-op. Everyone always starts out kind of cooperatively, but the only one person can win in the rules, right? So but everybody tries to screw each other, and there's a lot of ways to do that, which slows the game down so much, and that's what he ran into. But you got to try Zombicide, because that actually it's co-op. It's tile-based, but it's like you lay it out beforehand, and you have scenarios. So you have like different goals. Go gather, X amount of supplies or whatever. It's super, super hard, and you have to really coordinate pretty well. But the best part is, the thing you'll like is it actually has characters. Like the actual the figures, are unique sculpts, and then you have cards for them, and they have different skills, and as they level up, they have unique different upgraded skills that they get and stuff like that. But it comes with, I think, like 6 characters, and then it has a bunch of blanks, so you can make your own characters there and give them skills and all that kind of stuff. So I think in that scenario, I think you would maybe want to use somebody like a Chainsaw Murphy, because you could actually get chainsaw. You could have chainsaw skills, stuff like that. You know, like, I mean, that would be. I think maybe you should check that out.
I like it. I will. I'm looking at it. Yeah, because there's actually a board game here that sells English version board games. So, good plus for me. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and then they've got they have a new standalone expansion and then an add-on thing as well. One's like in a prison and the other one's in a mall.
Oh, cool.
So they got City Streets is the first one. So it's pretty sweet. You might like that.
Staples. I like it. I'm in.
I still have not got to play the Resident Evil game. I have it, and I've got one of the expansions, but
you guys should play it. We should actually play that one time.
I want to see you guys try to play over the internet.
We're still way overdue for Outbreak Undead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah. Well, the space expansion just came out.
Good.
And so we'll do the
Dead Space expansion?
Yeah. What do they call it?
Oh, shit.
It's not called Dead Space, but it's something.
Deep Space.
Yeah. I think it's Deep Space.
Yeah.
I said that as a Star Trek joke for you, but
maybe it is. Yeah. Yes? Whatever.
Can we play this? We need to play the scenario out so that we start on Earth and then we escape to space.
Whoa.
And then we realize, oh God, they followed us.
But
that's awesome. That's a great idea.
But the ship that we're on in space has a zoo in it, because we still need to have.
Shit! It's an ark.
Space.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the best idea. I'll do. I'll do this.
We got to do this.
I'll write this out.
We got to do this.
Dayzark.
Okay.
Wait. What was our
Dayzoo? But
Dayzoo.
Dayzooark. No, I'm done.
Dayzooark.
I wasn't going to get any place good with that.
Yep. Nope. I don't have anything.
I played some card games.
What did you play?
I had my best game of Cards Against Humanity this weekend since the first time I played it. I've probably played it maybe 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Expansion 3 literally came out on Friday. Josh and I were talking off the air. I don't know how it made it to my house on Saturday, but we had a
without paying for overnight Saturday delivery.
Yeah, I paid for like 2-day delivery, and it showed up within 24 hours. So that was kind of crazy.
Someone was looking out for you.
And then I also had not used the Christmas expansion, the holiday cards, which are really funny just to have just random Christmas references in the middle of this game.
That's gotta be weird.
And so somehow not really surprising for people that know me, I've evolved into a kind of a Cards Against Humanity elitist, in that I only like playing with certain types of people and like certain sizes of groups of people, because you get too big of a group.
Wow.
That's super fucking picky for a party game.
I know.
That's a
man.
That's like real.
Excuse me, you guys. You're gonna need to step into the other room while we play this fun game.
If I get everyone's attention, please. The person in the corner, I'm gonna need them to actually turn around the other way, and if you can just put your drink on the other table over here.
May not go through my head.
And I really need you to line up the cards. The stacks perpendicular.
I'm at least not anal about where the cards go. So. That's
actually, that's the one thing though that. Okay, where do you put the cards? Do you put one big stack in the middle when you do like the big games, or do you spread out
spread out?
Okay,
because we had
post shuffle.
We had 8.
Right,
yeah.
You don't do that thing because
we had 11 people playing. So
I saw a photo of this table. It was gigantic.
And it's not that I don't like playing with a large group of people. It's that it takes so long to read every card. Whenever you do your turn, and I like to play where that person has to read that card with whatever the prompt is every time, and they have to get into it. And I don't want people to just throw them down and pick one, because I've been in that group too, and that's terrible. It's just like, here are all the white cards. I'm not going to read any of them. I'm going to point one, and this one's funny. But after I finally I lost control of the game, and yes, we're going to bring in all of these people. Mm-hmm. Had a really good time, and had one round of the draw 2 cards. I wish I could remember any of the examples, but just every pairing was topping the next one. It was just from start to finish. So it was just the funniest. This is why they made this game, was for this moment, as offensive as this deck was.
That's awesome.
Because sometimes you'll get to those draw 2 cards and everybody's just burning the cards they don't want. But everybody came to play, and it was very offensive and very perfect.
That's awesome.
So.
Did you pull any cards out? Do you have
I have now
the
gotten
Glenn
rid of
Beck ones.
I've gotten rid of all the Glenn Beck ones, and I got
hate
rid
those.
of the haiku card. That's the
Actually, god damn it, I've gotten that card. Like I've actually made haikus several times.
but you don't get rewarded for it.
No, you don't.
So,
Although sometimes it makes sense, even and whatever.
so I mean,
Though, what's the how many?
so you guys can tell me if I'm an
syllables?
asshole. The reason I'm picky about
You're
who
an
I
asshole.
play with
You have an example you're gonna give, and then we're gonna say, "Oh, okay, gotcha."
is
Thought you just wanted to know.
after about the third or fourth time I played this game, you start to realize this game has a short shelf life with certain groups of people. You're only gonna the cards are only going to be so funny to you so many times. And I was like, there are just groups of people that have that sense of humor that matches those cards, and I want to make sure I experience that with those groups of people. So it's kind of like,
Well, thank God for the expansions.
yeah, and the fact that they're still kind of pumping those out on a regular basis. I finally had to also research online, like how are people, what are they using to contain all these cards? Because I'm carrying around like 5 boxes with me now. So I finally got like this baseball card collector thing that. So I have one container for all the cards, and
Well, they have like magic card ones you could use.
that was what everybody was using. It was like
orbs and dragons. And
I thought it was an interesting
lightning bolts.
crossover of like magic card players and baseball card collectors that they're using the same
like
things.
the brands that make the guys that make like sleeves for that stuff. Like, well, like what I have sleeves on a bunch of my games. I don't have on magic cards, I don't think, but like on other stuff, and they're by Ultra Pro or somebody, I think, and I think they make like. I thought they made like baseball card stuff. Like
That sounds right. I used to collect those.
Same size, and you want to keep them in good shape, so you would protect them the same way, right?
Then I
What
guess
about a utility belt?
You know what?
You come rolling up to a party, you're going to eliminate those 5 people you don't want to play with you because they'd be like, this guy's got cards on a utility belt.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be fun.
What a great way to Okay, so what about have you ever thought about getting one of those card shufflers for this game? Because
Yeah.
I think that might.
I would buy that.
Yeah. How
Because
much are those?
We had to have like 4 people.
Portable?
I have so many cards. I now have 800 cards. Is that right? There's 100 in each expansion. It's 830 cards now. Because there's 500 in the first batch.
Holy shit.
And so I had like 5
That's a
people
lot of cards.
shuffling.
Yeah.
Because when I broke out the third deck, I was like, I want these in the middle of everything. I don't want to just find a stack that is just like I can identify all the third expansions.
How many inches of cards is that when you lay them all out?
I didn't measure. I don't measure.
Okay, well, for the rest of us, Mike in the chat says that they've got one at his house.
I will come steal it.
Said it
Thanks,
works
Mike.
great.
Oh,
Works great.
that wasn't an offer.
No,
It was
I don't
just,
think so.
I have one and you don't.
Will
Thanks
it
for
hold
that.
800 cards?
Yeah, it looked like he was bragging, but yeah. So no, I don't. You should steal it because of that.
Cheap.
Because he's bragging, you should steal it. It's like Robin Hood syndrome. I don't think that's true.
Like somebody could like work super hard, save up, buy something because they bragged about it. It's now forfeit.
Now it's public domain. Yeah.
Oh, your soul is mine, as well as your things. So,
And then those guys, the Cards Against Humanity guys, they were at PAX East this weekend, which
we weren't.
I did a really good job of ignoring, other than the fact that
Yeah,
like Friday,
I see.
they had a ton of news that came out from that on Friday, including the best drunken article ever written on HorribleNight.com. Ethan's announcement of the DuckTales remastered. I like to think that he was just drinking solid all day until he saw that come through.
I think
and he stopped.
I think we were talking about
Stone
in-
cold sober. Yeah.
I think Google Chat is where it was. Ethan and I talked about it in Google Chat. I think was where we, because it was like, because it was like normal time here, and it must have been super late there, and it was, or I don't know what time it was, but
He sent me this nonsensical email that basically said, "It's done. Do something with it."
yeah.
I don't know if the words
Oh,
work because I'm drunk, but because of that,
So I start sending Ethan all these videos from YouTube of people doing covers of the Moon theme, the Moon stage theme. And every link was a different instrument. And there's like 5 different. It's like, here's a guitar, here's a piano, here's like a sitar, here's a, I don't know, there's other shit. One guy had like a keyboard modulator thing, it was like the size of like a small piano and had 2 decks and a bunch of knobs on it. He actually made that himself. I can't remember what that thing's called.
He did?
It has a name. Yeah, that guy makes
God, man.
musical
Do
instruments.
you ever
and
feel like, I mean, you're making an arcade machine, so maybe you don't count with this, but I just feel like a piece of shit when I like watch YouTube and these people construct all this badass stuff. I'm like, I made a shitty grilled cheese the other day, and the cheese didn't even stick. You know, like that's
Yeah. Oh no, I can't. I don't make cool things. I mean, I can follow instructions. That's about it. And even only half the time. Then, you know, like I couldn't do like I can play Legos, but I could never do the robot ones. You know, what are those called? What's that called? You know, Lego robots.
Oh,
what the hell is it?
Bionicle?
Yeah, maybe. No.
I have
Whatever.
a
It's got a
Bionicle.
name.
I don't know where it's at though. I lost it.
Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, we're all dumb. It's okay, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy other people's creations.
Oh yeah, I love to. Yeah.
Such as video games.
Yeah, like
Like we do.
DuckTales.
So there's some big games came out this week. First of all, Army of Two. 3.
Whoa.
3.
This is number 3 in the series.
Number 3.
Devil's Cartel.
Yeah.
Ethan played that.
Yeah, I played the hell out of it. Oh my god, I've.
that
Well, I
really
just
come
broke
out
away.
this
Wait,
week?
I actually had to look at it. Yeah, no, it's out today. You didn't
get
know?
out
Oh
for the
wow,
end of
what
the
an ass!
No, I
No.
mean, like I didn't.
There were no early reviews. Like no one. Somebody.
I don't think I've seen an art. I mean, honestly, in 2 days, I don't think I've seen an article on it this week.
No. Somebody on Twitter earlier, I think maybe like Ben Kuchera or something said something like he said, he says I forgot about this game, and apparently the publishers did too. Because no, the publisher did too because no one got copies.
I mean, there was at least stuff
But maybe they
on
did.
Survival Instinct last week. Like after you get into
That's
later
just
on Tuesday,
because of the name. That game is garbage.
but still nothing on a
But yeah, and you know what? I actually
Riccatello Swan song.
I think I played the first one with Mike the Dean, who's in chat right now. I think it was he and I that played the first one. I thought it was fun.
First one's good.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't play the second one, but I put it in the same category as Kane and Lynch, where it's like it's probably not technically like a really good game, but co-op, you can have a ton of fun. Like you can be really good time on the couch.
They really should have gone ahead and combined Kane and Lynch, Army of Two, and 50 Cent
Crossover.
with all
God, that would sell. That would sell, dude. You should work for someone.
like I mean
You should have a job.
You should. Yeah.
we should all have
sounds-
jobs.
Let's send him.
Let's get jobs.
Let's all write him letters of recommendation.
Hey, send him to Hollywood. You know Hollywood's looking for people like that all the time.
Who is this guy?
When's Bollywood gonna start making games?
Video games, real serious
what I
to the
want.
very end, and they just dance. I'd play a Bollywood game in a fucking
And
second,
they would be
dude.
gorgeous. Like the cinematography or I guess just the graphics in the games would be just art direction would be fantastic. Wouldn't really make a lot of sense. And there would be a ton of dancing, but the music would be catchy. It wouldn't be good, but you would just like, God, I can't stop moving my shoulders. Bollywood.
Yeah, because that is it. Oh my god, dude! Like, you don't really dance. You just
I know,
like,
you
maybe
just
you
can't-
do a
you're like,
thought, like
damn, I
like
can't
a like a snap.
Yeah, a
And then
little
like a
snap.
shoulder. Sometimes I'll do this, but then I'll go
Yeah.
right back to this because I don't want to get too crazy.
Yep,
You know?
yeah, yep.
I love Bollywood.
I know, me too.
Man.
Goddamn Bollywood.
I don't have any of these problems.
No, so none of us played Army of Two.
Right.
Is the point?
No.
But yeah, and then BioShock was out. BioShock
Infinity?
Infinity.
Infinite. No, yep, that's it. Yep, you're right.
Infinity. That came out.
You played quite a bit of it.
So, Ethan, you haven't played it, right?
No, not yet. Yeah.
Okay,
He's
so
been busy.
and Justin's only played the first hour, so
Yep.
I'll try not to spoil anything. Is it? Can I go ahead and can we just do spoilers for this game? Is that okay?
I don't know if that's an okay.
It's
I don't.
a funny guy. Yeah.
Don't do it. I wouldn't do that.
All right, let me just say one thing. I'll just say one thing about the story. You guys, Ethan, you saw, you've like watched stuff leading up to this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Elizabeth, the girl in the game, at some point like you meet up with this girl that you're.
Yeah.
Like
God,
it's the
I
whole
hope
point.
so.
It's the whole point of the
Same.
game.
I hope she's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Though.
The game is really about it's about this relationship, and like just the best AI companion ever.
And I feel like you're really picky on that. So
God, I hate escorting people around, especially people that are like that don't have guns, and stuff. And no, it's like you just don't. At never at any point do you have to worry about your companion, and that is just the best. And I won't tell you why or whatever, and it's not like a big deal. But
is she also useful?
And I haven't played yet, and I agree. I'm sure she's great, but I'm gonna take some issue with that. We'll talk about it later on, but I will take it. Best AI companion? I don't think so. Take issue with that. But continue with your talk.
Well, can she be in a top 5 or something? Is that fine? Is it?
Yeah, no, sure. As long as she's
right.
not the top one, that's perfectly fine.
So she doesn't get in your way, but does she help you?
Really well done. Yeah, and in ways like, and I'm going to try to be really careful to just to not like spoil stuff that would be a pleasant surprise, but like there's no like hacking minigame kind of thing in this. When you run into locks or things that can be unlocked, and there are those. And just by the way, this is a BioShock game. If anybody was wondering, it feels like BioShock. It plays like a BioShock game. It has vigors instead of plasmids, and it's the gunplay feels very similar. A lot of it is better than BioShock 1 and 2, but it's still going to play out a lot like that. They've added more, and it's definitely more dynamic because of the level design and the skyline thing with the hook hand thing. But what?
Do you kind of wish that this was your first BioShock?
No, because it's been long enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Did
you play 2? I skipped 2.
Some of 2. I didn't play. Yeah, I played like a
I
little bit of 2.
I
just didn't care because I was done with Rapture, so I just was like, meh. I'm sure it was a fine game, whatever. But I wasn't in love with that. But 1 was really good, and but I played that in 2007 or whatever the hell that
Yeah, it's been a while.
7 or 8 or whatever that was. And so I was ready to. I was ready for more of this kind of gameplay, but it's completely different setting. Columbia is totally different.
It's up as opposed to down.
Definitely up.
Thing.
I love how sunny it is and how creepy it actually is.
I think that in a lot of ways it is completely more unsettling than Rapture.
Absolutely.
And Rapture is like dirty and gritty, and this is like it'll be bright and like turn of the century feeling, and it's and then there's just like these some of it is like overtones. Some of it is in your face, like some of the violence and like the racism and some of that stuff. I mean, it makes me uncomfortable like constantly. And then there are these times where it's just like completely frightening. There's a thing that you run into in the game. Actually, this happens, and I'm like maybe 8 hours into the game or so.
Big Daddy, right?
Yeah, Big Daddy ain't got shit on some of these things. There have been 3 different, I'll just say creatures for lack of a better term, that some of them have been direct fight stuff, some of them have not, that have just like scared the crap out of me.
Awesome.
But there's just like all kind constantly. It's just really, really weird. And it's got this. There's a ton of like weird historical stuff. It's like it takes place in like 1918, but it's really.
It's 19. That was 1912.
Or something like that. Yeah, but there's lots of references to like George Washington and Lincoln and stuff like that, and it's weird. Like it's almost like it spans like 100 years, and I'm not really sure. I think that's actually going to play into the story. I think there's a reason, and all this. They have these awesome old timey songs in the game. Or like old timey. Well, not the songs aren't old timey. The performances are. Like they've got this quartet that's doing like a acapella kind of whatever version of a Beach Boys song, and the way they sing it, it's like it's classic, and it's. I'm like, wait, what? This sounds. I know this song. And then another point, there was like Cyndi Lauper and some of these other like songs I recognize, but they're done with banjos and accordions and violins and all this stuff, and in the style of the time but they're modern songs. Fortunate Son. There's like
Really?
a slave. Yeah, there's a slave who's singing it like in the style of like, some of the music you would hear from like slave era stuff. And gorgeous, just gorgeous performance singing CCR.
I mean, there was a
Amazing. It's just amazing. The soundtrack is one of the best I've ever heard in a game.
There's a point at the beginning where I heard the kind of barbershop quartet like off in
Yeah.
the distance, and
Yeah, that's
I was like, towards the beginning of the game, I'm just like taking in Columbia. I'm
Yep.
not like, you're just kind of walking around
Mhm.
and looking around, and I'm just taking in every little detail. And I heard them off in the distance, and like was still kind of walking around and realizing, oh, their song's almost over. And so I like wanted to sprint over there to make sure like I took some of that in too.
Yeah.
But it was just because it was so authentic.
Mhm.
It was, but I didn't pay attention enough to see if it was a cover of something.
that
But
was that was a Beach Boys song. Like what
Wow.
the hell? But what I was saying earlier about Elizabeth, like there are these, you run into these like locked rooms and safes and stuff like that, and she knows how to pick locks. So you tell her to go and unlock it, but you have like lock picks and a finite amount of them, and she'll have to use like from 1 to 5 of them to open certain locks. And so you just tell her to do it, and then you can just wait a second, and she does it for you. So there's things that and there's other times when she'll do things too, and like the tears come into it. If you saw that in the trailers, that's also another kind of a gameplay thing. It's really awesome. But oh my god, this game is gorgeous.
It's ridiculous.
Oh man, play it on the
Yeah.
computer if you can, and just crank up the graphics. I can't believe how it's really smooth.
How's your experience been so far?
Oh my god, I got everything's cranked, and it just looks awesome.
You haven't? Oh, I had VSync, like frame rate issues, but
Well, I turned VSync off in the games.
Yeah.
I got an NVIDIA card. I'm sure
Yeah.
you do too. Make sure you got the latest beta drivers for it, by the way, because it has the latest ones that just came out 2 days or yesterday. It has a big performance bump for BioShock Infinite.
as soon as I turned off
for newer cards.
that VSync, it was fine.
But I turn on adaptive VSync in the NVIDIA control panel.
Okay.
And so when your frame rate would go below 60, it turns off VSync. And when it goes above it, it would turn it on. And
Okay.
it does it on the fly.
Nice.
So you don't have any of that weird
Because-
mouse lag and stuff like
I mean,
that.
the game's gorgeous. The draw distance, the city itself is amazing. But then there's that added fact that all these buildings are floating. So like you'll see
Everything's moving.
Yeah, you'll see like you're looking down the street,
Yeah.
but then everything. So, man, the tech behind that it's incredible.
It is a real feat. Like there are so many times where you're looking around and like, and it's using Unreal Engine,
Mhm.
but I can't believe some of the size of some of these levels. Like I was impressed with the Transformers game, War for Cybertron, how the size of some of those levels, with Unreal Engine. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, I didn't realize they could do them this big. And this one, like they're cramming so much into some of these. There are loads, at some point, like you go into a door and it's like, hey, this is going to be, it kind of gives you an extra prompt to go into the next area. But man, some of those are just absolutely gigantic. Gorgeous. Just the art direction and the detail on the texture work is insane. Like just tons and tons and tons of cool posters and like just awesome propaganda stuff. If you like propaganda posters, you will love this game because there's a ton of that kind of stuff.
and they
Like,
have the.
Oh, I love propaganda. Yeah.
I mean, they still have the audio things that you pick up off the video.
yep, voxophones.
But they
call
also
them now,
have
but
the little. I don't know what to call them. The little booths where you kind of stick your
Oh my God,
your
yeah.
head in and you
You
watch,
watch like a
little
silent film.
Yeah.
Those are, and again, propaganda stuff. And it's like it's all for these people are just super patriotic, but they also have they really worship the guy who runs the place, the
Call him the
Columbia.
prophet.
And it's religion and nationalism, just completely hand in hand. And like
And so what? Colombia was a part of the U.S. and then they
Right.
they did something to fight the Chinese army to
Yes.
protect the states.
Yes.
And then Washington basically
told them to stand down.
Mhm, and they didn't.
Right.
And so then they seceded from.
Yes, by just flying up above the clouds.
In the sky. Hey, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
That's the way
right.
to do it. That's how they did it in Borderlands 2. So like with all my big question as I'm watching stuff building up to it is that the whole idea of the patriotism and kind of I don't think it's anti-religion or anti-patriotism, but does it ever get a little bit like heavy-handed at all? Or do they do a really good job of kind of I don't know. Not that it mattered either way, because I think the message is pretty, like, I think they're taking some chances, but I mean, that's awesome. Like, I think those are two big topics right now, and especially our nation. But I wondered if they're able to do it in a way that isn't just like, oh, okay, we get it. Like,
Before Josh can probably speak to it later, but as far as playing through the intro, I didn't know anything about kind of the themes of the game at all, other than, it was a super patriotic city. But the timeliness of the story just seems almost too spot on for kind of our political atmosphere in America right now. But so it really caught me off guard, and I wondered how heavy it's going to be throughout the game. But I'm sure it's going to be similar to the Ayn Rand stuff of the original BioShock.
Yeah, if the first BioShock was, you know what? I'm afraid to judge the game yet, because as far as I am into it, some of these issues have gotten more complicated, and there are so many elements that are still there are like these little strands that haven't fall all the way to the end, and first of all, I don't think never at any point did I go, oh, that's a comment about something going on today.
Yeah,
and Ken Levine has been saying that, and he's been making the interview rounds the last couple of weeks, and he's specifically saying, no, I'm not trying to make.
There's a really great the interview with him on Giant Bomb, like they did a week before.
Really,
the game. Is
really good. Yeah. Jeff Gerstmann and Patrick Klippert were ahead of him in there for about 45 minutes, I think, and just laid back and just have him, kind of skipped ahead of all the bullshit usually getting the average interview.
Yep.
Good rapport is why that happened, but. So and I see where his brain is, he's thinking about those subjects, and he's tackling them. It's sort of like just it's a secondary thing though. He's trying to just write a good story, and so far it has been absolutely that. But it's more like a product of the setting. More so than trying to make a point. Like I don't feel like this isn't like a lot of indie games these days where it's like, oh, the whole when you're going to supposed to, and I haven't seen the end of it yet, so maybe this will change. Like I said, I'm kind of afraid to judge it yet, but just so far, like I don't feel ever that it just hit me in the face with it, except to maybe just I'm like not to think about, because a lot of these issues I'm not going to say we've solved them, but we've acknowledged them and have tried to work on them. So it's not like it's not an awareness thing, Like we know this has been a problem. Yeah, we know slavery was bad. Holy crap! But we know that people just blindly follow and all this kind of stuff. So I don't, I don't think that's going to be an issue for people unless you just really just read maybe too much into it. And at that point, I think you're just going to miss out on some of the really great story and the great writing, the atmosphere, and all that stuff. I mean, this is really well written game, and the voice acting is just top notch. Troy Baker plays Booker DeWitt, and he's the man.
So
he's the guy who's not Nolan North and does everything. He's he did Jake Mueller in Resident Evil 6.
I was watching Ethan's stream today. I wondered that
and he does Joel in Last of Us, and you've heard him in a million things, but he's
and about to hear him in in a million things too.
Yeah.
The funny thing about like how gorgeous the game is and how atmospheric it is, and the depth of the writing, depth of the story, and like I said, I was wandering around Columbia just soaking it all in. And then the action heats up. And I also kind of forgot how violent and gory BioShock games can be.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, like, we do some of the melee combat in this, and there's execution moves. And I've just got the first basic weapons, and it really caught me off guard. I mean, the first kill you have in the game is just trails of blood, and it's just like, oh shit, it's on. And I had just forgotten about that almost... For lack of a better term, the rated R aspects of the BioShock universe, and still really satisfying though.
It's. I remember with BioShock, it's almost like it's not cartoony, but it has that kind of whimsical kind of look to it. There's a lot of vibrant colors, and then that violence hits you, and it's such a cool juxtaposition. And that's like I was watching a video today on BioShock Infinite, which is, I mean, not that I wasn't sold on getting the game, but I'm sold now just because it's like, holy fuck. And like games, I don't have those holy fuck moments in games. Even in like, you have violence like Dead Space and that kind of stuff where it's violent, but like you kind of expect it. Yeah. Like to be shocked, not only by the content, but actually like the graphical kind of stuff going on. I mean, that's cool. And it's not just violence for the sake of violence, but it's violence to show that, like this is kind of a horrible place with this like kind of coating of goodness and sunshine. Mm-hmm. But you're going to have to get things bloody to get to the, get to the core of things. Like, I mean, that's I'm pumped for that.
And BioShock kind of touched on that because you knew that Rapture was that, but by the time you get there, it's all just dilapidated and it's, run down. This, you're there in the middle of like the height of this civilization. And for most parts of it, you go to some areas that are maybe not quite that, but man, there's some mystery stuff going on. Like if you like mysteries, if you like, if you like going, wait, who's that? What's this? What's that? If you like mysterious characters, you like storylines that you pretty sure they're not what they seem to be, but the game is just giving it to you in tiny bits. Like you're gonna love this game.
That's awesome.
Because there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, what? Like I have a lot of questions, and like if you're asking questions, it's doing something right. If it is not, and I'm not frustrated that I don't have the answers, I guess is the second part of that.
We kind of started this conversation offline. There's the atmosphere of BioShock, but actually when you get down to the actual core gameplay, I know it's amazing and it's fun, the variety of ways that you can approach a action sequence, like the tools that you have at your disposal. Does that ever wear thin, or do you find yourself are you still having fun with the gameplay aspects hours into the game versus I feel like for me for BioShock 1 I kind of figured out how I wanted to play it and I just kind of stuck to it, and the gameplay kind of diminished in my mind. It didn't like, it's not a bad game by any means, but it wasn't. I started playing for the story only towards the end of the game. Yeah, okay. So and if you've heard any criticism online of the game, it's probably that like some of the combat it seems combat heavy in spots or whatever, and I think that's just you got to find something to criticize a game about. Like, well, if I had to bitch about something, what would it be? But I think that really depends on what kind of player you are. Like if you just play like a ton of shooters and you play this on hard mode. If you're like you have really good twitch reflexes and you're playing like on the PC or something like that, or probably even on the Xbox, but if you like to just snap to somebody's head and pop a headshot and that kind of thing, play it on hard, you're going to have a really good time with the combat, just all the way throughout. Because as the game goes on, they keep introducing new enemies, and it's not just this guy's got more armor. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but it never at any point do you go, well, I got to shoot this guy in the head 4 times instead of They don't really do a ton of that stuff. It's more like, some of these guys have some powers, some vigors and stuff that you would have, and then there's all these other things with the tears and stuff, and so you'll have a lot of options, and then the skyline stuff makes just completely opens up a level for you because there's a lot of verticality to a lot of these stages, and guys will come on airships and stuff, and so you're like, well, what do I do? Well, I can sit here and snipe him. Or I can use a vigor and pull him down to me, or I can jump on the skyline and ride my way up there and then do a skyline execution thing and knock him off, that kind of thing. So you always have all these different options. But if you're the kind of player who just really wants to, like, you enjoy that first hour of the game where you just like walking around, taking it all in, and the atmosphere, and you like the mystery and the story and all that stuff, and the relationship thing, like what's, between the two of them. I don't mean that in a romantic way or whatever, but just like the back and forth, and you really want to, see the story to completion. Maybe you're not a hardcore shooter player. Yeah, play it on an easier mode, figure out what you're good at. And if you're just like, you can pretty much just use vigors and like pick one gun that you're okay with. But there's so many guns, and you can upgrade them and all that stuff. But there's a lot of different kinds of guns. I'm playing with a carbine and a rocket launcher, and that's just about it. Sometimes I'll pick up a machine gun or something. I've upgraded that too,
But I don't really need to, because you can always buy ammo for any of the guns. You can only carry 2, but you find your 2 guns. You know, some people just like pistols, and there's a couple of those. And some people just like shotguns. There's a couple of those, or machine guns, or whatever, or just the heavy weapons. And so you'll pick your guns that you like, and you can just get good with it, and then you don't have to really worry about like scrounging a lot. I mean, as long as you're pretty thorough, actually, about just go exploring all the areas, you'll just find ammo and money to buy ammo and upgrades and stuff.
Well, it sounds like it's deeper than I kind of expected, and that you kind of you'll get more out of it if you put more into it. But if you do want to just blow through it, then you know, it might come across as a little bit, you know, that might not be the reason you're playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first-person shooter. You know, you have to enjoy first-person shooters, or you're going to get frustrated at times. There's so much combat, but the pacing, I think, is actually really, really well done for these kinds of games. What? Just say it.
Just chat's making fun of us.
We
because we don't have Ethan here in the studio to look passionately at him, so we have to look at each other.
Well, I did just make the claim that you guys just found out that you were related. So that's kind of
You are
Justin. We're brothers.
There's no multiplayer in this, is there?
Nope.
Did they ditch that?
No, but they have a season pass. Don't buy it. No, and here's not yet. And here's why. Maybe they add some cool stuff later, levels, story stuff. But right now, you get a bunch of upgrades and powers, and like there's a package right now you get that probably would make the game a little too easy, especially if you're playing on a normal or easy difficulty. Yeah, don't do that. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Just So I think that's the best thing. Like I could say, as far as if you're like really hardcore shooter, play it on hard and just really enjoy it. If you're not, just pick the things you think you're good at. Don't try to use everything. Just use the couple things. Like especially with the vigors, like you can do some. I think they're way more interesting than the plasmids were, and some of them are just fantastic. And like the effects,
I like the
on
little
your hands. They're just awesome looking.
Yeah,
it's gross. God,
Yeah.
they're gross. Like the first time I got the what was it? The bucking bronco one. Like you see a guy, he takes a drink, he takes a big swig of this. They're the coolest bottles. I want like I want
a vigor bottle.
decanters, yeah, and of these things because they're coolest. Anyways, the guy takes a drink and then it goes through his veins and his hands where he casts the stuff out or whatever. They something happens. Like so with the fire one, you see that his hands burn away and stuff.
Yeah,
It's really
to the
cool.
bone.
And the
And he kind of freaks out too.
oh yeah. Yeah. And then with this one, it's you see like it cracks. It's like you see these, it's just patches of skin, and then you see like there's like it's like a crevices, in between, and it's just really, really gross seeing it just falling apart. Oh man!
So they're awesome.
Just fantastic. I think that a lot of those little touches, like where the characters react to things a certain way, are just so brilliant. Facial animations are really good. It's not a super realistic style, but it's for some of the characters at least. Some of them are a little more realistic than others, but
It allows them to be really expressive.
But the expressions are really, really well done. And like the first time I did an execution with picked somebody up, twisted the little hook thing around on their neck, and until it like popped off, and the animation just took like a second longer than most games would. Just pauses for a second longer, and you're invulnerable whilst doing it. So they knew that it was going to take a little longer, but it was a trade-off because it's just so violent. And Elizabeth, it happened, and the guy's on the ground, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And Elizabeth goes, she's like, "Oh my god!" And it was such a real reaction. It was just so fantastic. I just love it. I just love that game. So far, it's the best.
So, Ethan, were you on the fence with this game at all, or was it just you'll get to it when you get to it?
No. I will get to it soon. I'm going on vacation this week, and I was like, the last thing that I want to do, not that going on vacation is bad, but when I get, why I avoided it, pre-ordering it, and why I'm not pre-ordering anything right now, but just I was like, I don't want to be thinking about that game, when I'm like actually in a beautiful place and thinking because I got
you'll look like an ass.
System Shock sucked me in, BioShock sucked me in, like
cool.
I know what's going to happen, you know what I mean? And so I'm going to wait till next week.
when you're stuck in that, like, you have to deny the awesome because you'll get caught up into it, and just like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it next week or a couple weeks from now. Because I for a while there, I was debating, like, I was trying to finish up some other games. I was like, I'm not going to finish these in time for BioShock. Maybe I should push off BioShock. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I wonder why you're kind of reserved in your excitement. Just because, I don't know. Looking at that release list, this and The Last of Us were like the two beacons as far as these are the ones that I know I have to play. Everything else I kind of have questions about. So
read no spoilers. Like, I would at this point, just don't even read reviews. Like, just go play the game. It's really, really, really good. Oh, and if you're buying it on the PC, they're not sponsors or anything. Green Man Gaming, I always talk about them. They just have the best deals. They've got it for it's still $60, but they had the best pre-order deals. You got like 4 other free games or 5 free games or something. It was ridiculous. But now
they were both doing the XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Yeah, and then BioShock 1, and then you got it was like you can get Civ 5 and Spec Ops and all this other crap. But that was all pre-order stuff. But now you get $15 credit on their store for other stuff, and they have everything. So everything's PC games so much cheaper.
You and Coop have been every time I turn around, Green Man Gaming. So.
Yeah, fantastic deals. But everybody's doing good deals now too. Amazon's great, and and it's not just Steam. So so that's BioShock Infinite. I cannot wait to I want to, when I beat it. I'm hoping that one of you has also finished the game, because
we can do like a spoiler cast or something.
Everybody that's finished the game has said, God, I want somebody to talk to you about this. Oh my God, that ending! That ending was crazy. So that's nothing worse than not being able to talk about something that's on your mind. So
we'll have to spoiler.
Yeah, cool.
Oh yeah. Those are the kind of games that, because they have so much going on, it's kind of fun to talk about that stuff. So I'm in.
Cool. And okay, so and then there's a game that's out next week that we all played this past weekend, called Defiance. This is out. This is PC and 360 and PS3, and it's like kind of Borderlands. If Borderlands was an MMO, would that be accurate?
Yeah,
that's
in third person.
Pretty fucking accurate.
In third person, but yes.
Oh, sure, yeah, but just we'll get into the whys, but so this is God, who is this? Who made this?
Tryon.
Okay, Tryon, who also did Rift and some other stuff. And
but Rift was pretty well received.
Yeah, people liked Rift. Yeah, that did okay. And so this is also going to have a Sci-Fi Channel show that's going to come out this summer.
I think it's,
or is it sooner than that?
It may be later this April.
Oh, maybe it is. I thought it was not lining up quite that closely, but maybe that was something that changed.
Yeah.
So, and the TV show takes place in a different spot. This is like near
April 15th.
Okay. All right. This is like a future Earth thing, and there's alien creature things, and you're shooting them, and it's co-op, and it has some PvP stuff in it, but it's mostly a co-op, and there's a lot of story stuff in it, and there's cutscenes and all that kind of stuff, but it's a real loot-driven game. And there's vehicles and trucks, and you can ramp the trucks.
I was gonna say it's a truck-driven game.
It's people-driven trucks.
You can summon a truck.
You can summon.
There's a button to summon trucks.
You equip
there's
yourself.
A fucking truck summoning button.
Unlimited.
Right
summons.
At your fingertips. Unlimited. You could summon one, and then 2 seconds later, you can say, "I don't like where I placed that." You summon another fucking.
Now, wait,
truck.
the first truck's not there anymore, though.
It goes away.
Yeah,
you
only personally have one at a time.
Infinite trucks,
but you and all your friends can.
But you can.
Well, you can have infinite friends who can all summon their own trucks. So you could almost say that's infinite trucks in a way. Technically.
Depending on server load, yeah.
No, BioShock Infinite Trucks was going through my head. So
that game doesn't need trucks.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Wow, we just said that.
What if it had them?
We said that very easily, but that's true. So
we know our trucks.
So
would that be a situation like where you have a piece of cake that already has icing on it, and icing's good, but you put too much icing on something and it's not good anymore? Do you think BioShock with trucks would be that?
Yes.
Yeah, or like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
You threw another cake on top of the cake, and it crushed the cake.
Or too much gravy.
Or, like your favorite. Yeah, like I love gravy, but I don't want it on my cake.
Yeah.
So this game is like really good mashed potatoes. Well, I don't know if it's really good mashed potatoes. It's mashed potatoes, though. You guys determine if it's good.
I've never understood anything more in my entire life than this metaphor.
Everyone likes mashed potatoes and everyone likes cake, but you know, or most people do. I don't want to. God, there I go again.
So you guys both played a lot more Defiance than I did, but I got to play with Ethan. So yeah, really curious to see what your impressions were.
Oh. Trucks. Well, you know what? We didn't actually have trucks when we were playing. We had ATVs. At some point, you get trucks.
Oh,
I saw Ethan driving a truck.
Fucking thing.
I saw Ethan driving a truck from a mission where it was just a temporary truck loan. And
which can I just point out the fact that I was really upset about that because I thought it was going to transition into my big rig. Like I was going to have a big rig for the rest of the time. I was like, "You've got to don't take this away from me. Don't take this away from me." And I'd gotten to a point where I'd driven the truck up on top of a big hill.
Yeah.
Just because again, this whole Josh in my brain, he started this fuck physics with trucks, kind of this movement, if you will. Whereas you just try to put a truck in whatever location you can.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing it. Like I can't help it. I got my truck up there. The mission ended. No more truck.
Yeah, I saw that. It was like this. It was this skinny little kind of a penis-shaped outcropping, and you drove it all the way up the side of this thing and up onto it. And there were like other players up there. Like I was there. I saw this. It was a stream.
Mm-hmm.
he live streamed it. I wasn't in his home or anything.
Not 3D Sex Villa.
Yeah.
No.
3D Sex Villa Euro Truck Simulator.
Nope.
Okay. 3.
Chuck Testa.
Defiance trucks. Defiance trucks.
You know what? The shooting felt like Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, so that was okay. If you know, sure. The guns did. I like the feel of the guns. I like the variety. I picked up like this cool submachine gun that shot like laser bolts or something. I don't even know how to describe them. And it looked awesome. And then I was using a shotgun, which just folded stuff in half, except the reload took like 10 seconds, and so that wasn't good. But you know, like it's got the random loot stuff that I really like. The skill tree is weird.
Skill grid?
Or skill thing. Yeah, not
the ego grid.
Skill roots.
Is it really? It probably was called the ego grid.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah. So it's got this really big, instead of like having different tabs and branches that go down and out, you have this big grid, and embedded in this, there's like skills all over the place, and you have these big ones embedded, kind of spaced out inside of this. And as you level those up, you get to then consecutively like branch out each time you level and go farther out, and the spider's off, and you eventually can get to the other skills too, and so you can kind of have other things. And I was like, you know what? It looks neat. I get it. I get what you're doing, but he's like, just why? Now
that I think about it, it's also kind of frustrating. You can't see how the branches work. Like I think back to the overwhelming skill tree in Path of Exile that shows you everything.
Right.
But I could plot my path as far as, and this I can't. It's just like you select the next one and it opens up the two connected to it.
Now that one is that.
I
wish I hadn't gone there because I don't care about when I kill something while crouched with a melee kill, I get 5% more critical damage for the next 10 seconds. Like, why would I ever equip that one? Because you can only have one main and one side one equipped, I think, at any given time. And
I have to think, because the menu is atrocious. The menu is shit at this point. It's bad. I have to think that is just one of those things that. I mean, it's really bad. I have to think that's one of those things. But I'm almost like the skill tree to me in this game. I'm like, you need something, but I don't know if they need it to put that much time and effort into it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. You could do something different with it. Maybe go to classes. I think what they're trying to do is give you this flexibility to create a build. But I use my power every once in a while, but not to the point that I thought it was a game changer. You know what I mean? And obviously, it's early on in the game, but still, like, I don't know.
Well, let me describe, just for people that haven't seen this game. So, co-op third-person shooter, you're shooting aliens and whatnot. So, the skills that you would have available are things like, a few seconds of super speed, a cloak, a
power shot,
hot handies. where your hands light
Fire
up.
hands.
You get fire hands, and your gun does more damage. Which I'm not sure how that works with like a shotgun that heats up.
It's the future.
Yeah, future
Future of hot handies.
future hands.
Yeah.
So you got future
You
hands.
work
and future
your hands
guns.
up. You work real.
Stop doing that. We have to turn the feed off.
And then I can't remember what the other major one was.
Decoy. You can throw decoy out.
Yeah, they're just really generic. But okay, so the
So
skill stuff.
wait.
Well,
And those 4 are the same 4 no matter what class you pick. Is that right?
yeah.
The classes actually equate to your starting weapons, which is also kind of a weird move. I thought, like, because I really thought I was like, I'm
then
not. It's like your backstory and then the weapons you begin with. So that to me wasn't implemented super well.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I
A little
couldn't
bit
really
misleading,
tell why.
actually.
I couldn't really tell why you would pick one over the other because you can just
clothes.
end up getting any skills.
The starting clothes.
Yeah, your clothes.
Well, yeah.
So skill stuff aside, like the missions. I didn't pay attention to the story at all because we were playing on a stream and stuff, and I was just hitting escape to skip everything because I was just trying to get to Ethan. So I cannot comment on that except to say that what I did.
Getting to Ethan. That sounds like a real great romantic comedy. We should put
I did. For what I saw, it seemed competent enough. So it may be good or not. I don't know.
I was actually surprised. Not that I'm saying it's good at all. I think it's okay. Sci-Fi Channel wise, like this might be an interesting show, but like the characters were modeled pretty well. I mean, the characters kind of like acted their lines out pretty well. The funniest thing was the main character from the show makes an appearance very early on, and it could not be more wedged in there. You know,
oh, really?
You got the situation going on, then suddenly like this guy walks out, and he might as well have like red arrows pointing to him, like this is him. This is him.
No,
You're gonna be watching him on the Sci-Fi Channel. Like
famous actor.
Well, it's like every other character. Like we all pointed him out in the intro, but every other character has a stylized look to him. But this guy like has details on his face that you know they modeled it after
like
the actor.
Like they did the Tiger Woods technology where they mapped his face to a
so
polygonal shape.
It's like that's the guy from the show.
They probably just took a picture with a 3DS.
And the zombie Reggie.
So, but yeah, I thought it was fine. Like just the idea of, I mean, I really thought that it played out a lot like Borderlands kind of, or like a Firefall or something like that. It wasn't doing anything. It wasn't doing anything new or different. But it's got that almost MMO kind of thing going on where you got a lot of people in the world, and so you can team up, and there's those open public events, and like again, all these things kind of have been done. They like picked all their pieces from stuff that was cool, they thought was cool, and then put it together. But I like the setting.
Yeah,
I thought the setting was cool. It feels cool. It's almost like.
And we've played post-apocalyptic settings before.
Yeah,
and it has personality.
It's like a terraformed city. Yeah, it's like Earth, but not Earth. It's like alien Earth.
It's like a lost planet without the snow.
I like the setting. I didn't like how bland it felt.
No,
like I felt like exploration wasn't really. You know what I'm saying? Like you
said
go in. Like, I kind of want. I know it's an MMO. You're not going to get that.
But there's like plenty of like hills and stuff to ramp off of.
Mm-hmm.
So like the traveling from point.
When I say ramping, dude, ramping's on lockdown.
Well, okay,
they got
so
the ramping. Don't be tripping. They got a lot.
What else do you require from an environment? Really?
Well, I kind of wanted to. I wanted to find like an old spooky house, but I got to realize it's an MMO. That kind of shit doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I know
You're not going to find
but I was drifting off the side and stuff like that. But I do want to say though, like, not that they're doing something new, but I do think that for me, and I'm going to compare this to PlanetSide 2, is I love that scale of PlanetSide 2. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love that. The only problem I ever have with PlanetSide 2 is if I'm not playing it with people, I feel like it's tough for me to get to a battle and feel like I'm part of something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This game immediately. I walked up, all my potential bros are out there fucking fighting these huge battles. That felt kind of cool. That felt a little bit, not that it's different, but the way that there's that camaraderie that kind of came into play really quickly. And there was no kind of douchey like possibility for people trolling and that kind of stuff. It was like this whole huge battle was going on. Like dudes are looking at you like, well, dude, we need you. Get over here, man.
Shoot this thing in the ass.
I like that feeling. And it was seamless, too. I was so surprised how, even for the beta weekend, the servers handled pretty well. I think we had a little bit of funky graphic shit when Justin and I were playing. But other than that,
Yeah, I didn't see any
We
weird bugs.
did one of the big Arkfall event. I think it was the second biggest one involving the hell bugs after I looked it up.
yeah. But
it
even
was,
then, it played well. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't have a lot of slowdown or anything like that. Like
like
that was
100
cool.
players in that area, and
Yeah.
like several huge giant bugs that were all taken down.
That's awesome, yeah.
And 100 players like actually like real time shooting at stuff, and
then us
the
trying to ramp over everybody.
continue to feel good.
Yeah.
And we were just Justin was like doing like donuts and stuff like that. But I mean, I think like that is what surprised me because I thought it was going to be like Global Agenda, which Global Agenda to me is another game that can be comparable to this game. But I felt like that you were aiming and shooting, but it still had that MMO like, there's numbers going like, are you really hitting them or are you just kind of hitting in a general spot? And I think that they did a really good job with the combat. My biggest concern for the game is that I got bored after a while. I did some cool shit early on, but like there was nothing that was kind of.
I want to see where the progression
me,
goes, honestly, with the missions and with your character. And I mean, you probably put 6 or 7 hours into it, right?
Yeah, and mission wise, missions weren't great. I mean, they were fetch quests, they were elimination, they were that kind of. I mean, they're going to need a little bit. I know that's tough to do.
That's the MMO side, like
that felt very
because to me, I was actually worried. It kind of been on a recent high with PlanetSide 2. That this game, I was like, oh, so would I want to play both of these games? And it does feel distinctly different than PlanetSide 2, but like the aspects of the fact that you can't really play PlanetSide 2 by yourself all that well lends it to why it's kind of a shooter first and then MMO versus this prioritized more of the MMO to me. And this game to me, throwing out other comparisons, this is somewhere in between Guild Wars and PlanetSide for me.
Yeah.
And the Arc Falls, the global events are awesome, and I know that was one of the big draws to Rift, so they've obviously learned from that.
And I think they have some really big bosses in the game that I don't know if you guys saw that. I didn't see it when I was playing, but I think I saw some video stuff of like I mean like maybe like really really big creatures. Does this sound familiar? Do you guys see this?
Yeah, because there's going to be raids. There's going to be co-op there's going to be 4-player co-op kind of instances that you can get into. I mean, I think there's going to be some cool shit. And as I did further research on it, I mean, there's a lot of stuff obviously we didn't get into, but
how much time are you willing to put in? Like you can't
before you
judge
get to
these
the good
games
stuff.
by opening areas.
Well, but you can because like if you have to slog for 10, 15, 20 hours or something. It's like this happens with MMOs where people say like, "Oh man, this stuff with the mid games and the end game stuff is great." Like, well, if you don't give me a strong start, or otherwise, I'm not gonna make it to the good stuff.
Because the only hook that it had for me after the ATVs was the Arkfall event. That was like, oh no, this game has some cool potential. Because I got bored immediately with the missions. Half of it though, I attribute to. I would have read into all the mission types and all the details of if I'd been playing by myself, but I was trying to keep up with Ethan and trying to just I didn't want to sit and play this game for 4 hours. I wanted to just kind of get a taste for it. I wonder if I could get into the fiction and get immersed because that's important for me. But I didn't really try in that regard. So like I said, I did get bored really kind of quickly, and I got worried about that, especially because Ethan had just started talking that he was getting bored with the mission types. But I think it's got a pretty solid foundation. Like the world has a lot of personality. I want to keep an eye on it. The other weird thing though, coming off of PlanetSide and just starting to finally appreciate and understand a good free-to-play model.
Yep.
This is a $60 game.
Yep.
Does it have? Do you know if it has free to play hooks or what they're?
Yeah, it's gonna have some microtransaction stuff.
Okay.
But
in that regard, it's lumped in with the Guild Wars of the world. Like it's not going to be subscription based.
Right. They need way to if you're gonna have the upkeep, the costs of associated with an MMO, and you're gonna not have monthly fees. You have to have ways to get more money after the initial purchase.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. I mean, it's. How else are they going to? Because the development costs are ongoing, and new players is the only way then at that point to get money, unless you have some sort of microtransactions.
Are we all kind of balking at the $60 initial hurdle with everything else we're playing, Or do you think if you didn't have anything else to play, that would be a hurdle for you guys? Because I feel like if I didn't have my playlist like pretty much full at this point, I would be taking a harder look at this game.
I like co-op.
That's like an issue. I think like co-op wise, if I knew I was going to play with you guys, like I knew I was going to be able, like I would be more into it. The thing with MMOs to me is I feel like I look at them and I'm like, just like you said, to get the good stuff, you got to put a lot of time into it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I love committing that much time to any game, because you either come in and you have that fresh feeling of this is fun in the very beginning, or you want that in-game feeling. And to get that in-game feeling, which across the board with all MMOs is the best part of the games, you have to put a shit ton of time into it.
And you have to get your friends to commit to playing that one game that you want to do that with too. Yeah, I feel like...
And I don't think the combat system alone, which I love it. I mean, I wish this was I wish Secret World was this. I wish they took the setting of Secret World.
Yes.
I wish that was what it was.
Yeah.
I swear, I was like, that's what I said on the stream. I was like, I wish the Secret World was this. I love the combat. What I love is the possibilities for this sort of gameplay mechanics to be put into a different situation. But I think this one has a shit ton of potential. I don't know what it is. I think like I would pay $60 for it, but if I didn't have all this other stuff going on, like, and I feel like it's tough to commit to these two as of late. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so much time, man. And you've got, not only are you competing with the MMO crowd who we know are dedicated, you also have that shooter crowd coming in too. And the people in between, if there's that Venn diagram, those people have a fucking lot of time on their hands, bros. Way more than we do. And I don't have a job, you know? Right. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it hits a sale or something and you guys are going to get it too, or you already have it, I mean, I'll jump in. Because I had enough fun with it that, and I know, like, the co-op, I'm an easy sell for the co-op stuff. If my friends are playing it, you know, sure, I'll jump in too. Especially with this, because I didn't have any problem playing, not too much of a problem playing at a little bit lower level than Ethan was. And while I wasn't doing quite as much damage, and they would hit me a little bit harder, I just had to try a little more, and then I was okay.
I think I jumped in like 6 hours later, and I think he was skewing my game because I could barely damage those enemies. But we were taking them down together. I didn't feel like I was contributing that much. And Ethan, I think you mentioned that about the arc fall itself. Like, sure, it was it's fun to kind of witness the event and see all the chaos going on and the giant enemies, but we didn't really feel like we were actually contributing to damaging these things. But some of that spectacle is it's a nice break from, you know, doing the main missions, and I would love to explore this, like the smaller, like 4-player co-op type of structured missions. If those are like more instanced, and I could get into that. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it. It's got a lot of competition for my time right now.
My number one complaint with this game is that the vehicles don't have collision with each other.
With each other, yeah. I did like that at least they could run over the enemies, because when I was running when I was running like through everybody else, I felt the same way, but at least I can pin mutants up against railings. Yeah, and they all have turbo. Like trucks and ATVs and stuff. You hold down shift and horns.
Yeah, and horns. So
horns.
Anything,
and you can somersault off of them.
Anything with 4 or more wheels, turbo, horns, and a level with ramps, and I'm probably gonna play it. So I'm gonna get it anyways, right?
Was the collision? Do you think that's a conscious decision, or do you think that was just part of the beta stuff? Because I can't imagine that's something you just suddenly implement.
I bet that's way too expensive, networking wise. I mean, I bet everything would just be bogged down. I don't think they could do that level of detail on that kind of stuff, probably, because
I was thinking there's a few situations where it would have been bad to have collision, because you know, when Justin first got in the game, I remember him coming up into the first camp, and all of these dudes in ATVs are just sitting there like just revving their engines. Like, we're getting ready to go. And I know he wanted an ATV, and he didn't have one. Oh my god,
it was the longest first 3 missions ever.
Oh man, they're not even that long.
I know, but at the same time, they give you your mount right off the bat. Yeah. So
which is nice, but Ethan, you bring up a good point, because somebody you get one of the bigger later trucks, and you can just block off an entry to like a mission area, and that would be awful. So they don't do that.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's got PvP, and you can do those you can queue up for like PvP things. Like you can get a bunch of people in an area,
PvP,
and then it splits everyone up into 2 teams, and you can just fight. And that's what I want to know is when you're playing PvP,
I don't think vehicles
have
go into instances in PvP.
Defiance,
I think that's
Twisted
what I read.
Metal, car combat, PvP.
I think I saw the actual Tryon guys playing, like doing a stream of the game a month ago or so, and I think I saw them with a truck in a mission. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you could. I'm
sorry, in a PvP
from what I gathered,
instance thing.
There's there's like instance like vehicles you can drive. You wouldn't bring your own like custom one in, but like I think the ones in those missions may have like weapons and that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's vehicles in there, but I think it'd be like a PlanetSide 2 situation as opposed to everybody summoning their vehicles. I think there's kind of like a set kind of vehicle counts.
Oh, okay.
That's the impression I got from Reddit.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Cool. Yeah. So that's Defiance. Out next Tuesday, I think.
Mm-hmm. The 2nd,
right? April 2nd. Bucks on PC and consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. What else? Justin, what else have you been playing? What kind of stuff?
I do want to give a shout out to PlanetSide 2 since we've been talking about that a little bit, and we had our first horrible game night of the year, and I don't know in how long, but that was a lot of fun. So sorry about missing the podcast last week, but I think we all had a good time.
Yeah,
Thanks to everybody.
Bunch of people rotating through there, and it was a good time.
It's just nice that like that free to play model, like people can just jump in and play. And I don't know how it was for you and Mike and the more veteran PlanetSide 2 players, because I felt like it was just the noob show as far as a lot of our adventures.
Yeah.
But I really warmed up to the game to the point where I was starting to play it again on my own, and I hadn't done that since the beta. And actually, after our session, I finally went in and started to try to figure out, okay, which class do I want to focus on? What type of upgrades do I want to invest in? Do I want to put money into this game? And I'm kind of at the point that yes, I want to drop some cash into this, and that's a big step for me in a free to play game. But I can't. I don't know where I want to focus. I don't want to waste my money, so I don't know where I really want to focus some of my upgrades. So I was experimenting with different classes. And
well, did you do the trial stuff?
I haven't. No. Well, they have like that the VR training.
Oh yeah, that's new. I haven't even seen that.
That's just that's kind of weird. It's just.
But I'm just saying, like, you can go up to an equipment terminal in the game. Like you were going to go and rearm or switch classes or whatever, anywhere, and you can just say, I think you can just do it literally just from hitting escape and going to the menu. But where you go into the shop and buy a new weapon or component for a vehicle or whatever, and you hit trial, and it'll give you like a 30 or 45 minute, I can't remember how long it is, but it gives you like a free trial, and you can do a free trial once every several hours, but once it's session or whatever, you can just go and like, I want to try out this new gun, and you just use it, and if you like it, buy it. If you don't, whatever.
No, I didn't mess with that.
Yeah, so that's really neat. I think that's I've never seen anyone else do that.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten to the trying out the weapons side yet because I'm still trying to figure out which classes do I like. So
what are you liking?
Well, okay, it depends on the scenario, and you've got to approach kind of each gameplay session that way. Like, we had a lot of fun on the stream, and our group just kind of, we were going waypoint to waypoint, but we were playing more. We've got a group of 6 people.
Yep.
We're not going to the big battle. We're kind of like going out on our own and like basically causing a distraction, and then the battle kind of comes to us, and we tried to capture a base with our reinforcements that come in and fight off the enemy. So that was a lot of fun.
It was actually pretty effective, too. It worked pretty well.
And then the first session that I played after that by myself, I joined a squad and basically followed a big outfit around, and they were.
You have like a platoon, like a whole bunch of guys?
I felt like I was on the fringe of the big platoon that was going and just taking over everything. And it was just waypoint to waypoint to waypoint. And that was a lot of fun because we were just taking over the continent. And so I hadn't been a part of that. That was a rush.
Yeah, those are cool. Especially when you get in like a big tank column, or when you get into, like you have like 10 Galaxy transports and fighters escorting you. That's really
like
awesome
the
to
fleet,
see.
Like move.
Just to see it on the screen, let alone play.
I mean, I still didn't feel like I was contributing all that much, but it was kind of more of those fun to witness moments. And then
that's PlanetSide 2. That I always feel like
I'm watching it.
I'm the rookie soldier, and I'm like the guy, like I'm real green, I'm real nervous, and and I immediately die. Like, you know, like the commander puts his like arm on my shoulders, don't worry, son, we're gonna get you through this. I'm like, thanks a lot, commander. Then boom, I'm dead and I'm down. That is why I like that.
You'd
game.
never make it in the Roughnecks.
Fuck no. You kidding me?
So at that point, I actually switched to the medic class and was trying to at least, I know I can help out by keeping these people alive and reviving people. So at least I felt like I was contributing, which, so that was starting to be fun.
You
and
get
then,
points and all that.
And I started doing the same thing with engineers, just like following big sunderers around and making sure that they're going to be okay. I can't shoot shit because I suck, but I'm gonna keep us in the battle. So
what? And let me just clarify, not because the game gimps you by
it's
not paying. No, Justin just can't shoot.
No, I'm just
Okay.
not very. I'm not very good. I'm out of practice.
Different weapon.
I am out of practice of keyboard, mouse, first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Like that just recently hit me. How? Yeah.
Well, weren't you playing Far Cry with a gamepad on the PC?
Yeah.
What the hell were you?
I'll get to that.
Wow. You know what? But Nathan was doing that with Borderlands too, so that's actually kind of a carryover thing. So yeah, I don't think that's
it's more of a
that's
comfort
not a strange
kickback.
thing.
I don't know. I don't want to have that conversation right now. But then,
Whoa.
so I'm done. So
Gee, shields up.
I didn't. I had my fun helping everybody, but I was like, I want to start getting my aiming down a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I struck out on.
Hold up. I know why your aim sucks. Because your mouse sensitivity is too damn high. Watching you, were you streaming? Was that where I saw you? Yeah, it was on the. Yeah, I was playing back some of the that stream because it was on your system. God, it was just so jerky. You would just move the mouse a little bit, like you could never just move it a couple of pixels. You would just you look like a hummingbird, like when you aimed. It was jerky. You just need to bring the slider down a little bit. Move your hand more. Get a bigger mouse pad.
I think I'm just out of practice. That's kind of what.
You know what would help if Josh came to your house.
Oh, God.
And this is a ghost situation.
No one would survive.
Came behind you, and the Righteous Brothers start playing, and he puts his hand on your mouse hand and kind of guides you through that. You know.
I think we're now above 5 ghost references in the history of this show. It's just your favorite way.
And
to
all
help
of them have
somebody
been
out.
about. I'm going to bring ghosting. Ghosting the whip was a thing, but I'm going to bring ghosting in general because every time my wife does the dishes, I start humming. Oh my! And I come up behind her and I try to be real sexy. And at this point in my life, there's nothing sexual about me, and she usually just nudges me back. But I think maybe one of you guys would take to it a little bit more. So let's talk about it.
It's a shame you moved.
All I can think of was the guy in the subway teaching Patrick Swayze how to move a mouse with his hand, like with his ghost hand.
Get off my train! Dude, that guy's a weird looking motherfucker, man. He was in Hills Have Eyes, the original one, and I saw that and have nightmares about that man's face
that's not
all the time.
Really, that guy? That's not the same guy that you're thinking of. I don't think.
I
think it's a different guy.
Oh no, you're right. He was the guy I'm thinking of was actually in Weird Science. He was one of the biker guys.
Yeah,
you're right. Yep,
that guy. I can't remember his name, which is I feel bad because I've looked up
I have
100
nightmares
times.
about his face as well.
But yeah, that guy too. He's just like a big, sad, mopey homeless man. Like I've seen him in movies where he's not a homeless man, but he still looks homeless.
Yeah,
that's what a terrible thing to say about someone.
that's a horrible typecast.
God, I feel really bad now. But he does. It's true.
Is this Paul? Yeah, we heard you're real good at being a sad, doofy homeless man. Do you think you could come in and talk to us? We got the perfect role for you.
I wrote this character for you.
Specifically for you.
I wrote this homeless man just for you.
It's okay. He's an artist.
He doesn't want to be pigeonholed. Okay.
So
what were we talking about?
I struck out on my own to try to get some target practice in, and I had hit that wall where this game isn't very fun to play by myself. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my ATV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do the recon class sniper, and I'm gonna pick a isolated base and just try to take it over. And I found basically this
one man, what, commando style.
Yeah. And
yeah, dude, I like your chops, man. I love it. Yeah,
I found this perfect base at the bottom of a ravine, and the approach from it was like this kind of winding road. So I started off really high above and could start picking off these dudes as I'm getting closer and closer. And then I discovered I didn't even realize the recon has a hacking ability, and so I got down close to the base, and there's no activity because all the battles are elsewhere. There's just random people coming through there, and I'm picking them off as I find them, and I hack into one of the consoles so I could change my class. And basically, once I'm sure this place is clear, I changed over to like a heavy and went over and captured the one waypoint in this place and just kind of hung out, fended off like 2 or 3 dudes. I had some dude fly in and help me out, and it was just 2 of us that held it down and basically captured that base by myself. And it was just like, oh no, I felt like I accomplished something. I know it was it wasn't like.
Were you emoting to that guy?
No, I wish I could.
To let him know that you're friends now?
I didn't know how, so I just jumped up and down.
Winky face. Did you guys ever stand back to back shooting?
I didn't slap.
Did the camera rotate around you?
No, I think he just.
That would be the kind of thing.
Did it start raining, or did doves come out at any given point?
How like really, like why? So okay, so it's able to be done because they do it in cutscenes. Like I would be okay with games making concessions for, like, okay, trade-offs. Like, all right, we're going to do something that looks with the camera, so whatever you see is you doing something cool from a better angle. But you're not going to be able to, like, steer or change your aim or whatever it is that you're doing. Like, you're not going to, so, like, some games do that, like when you ramp off stuff in, like Need for Speed or whatever, and Burnout. And yeah, okay, sure, yeah. And it does the camera thing. GTA does the camera thing. We're like, oh, cool, I'm doing this sweet jump. Why not when you're shooting in first-person shooters? Like, yeah, if you know what, the game knows, like, oh, 2 characters are back-to-back shooting opposite directions, take the camera out, do a slow-mo, 360. Why? How awesome would that be? Everyone would just be trying to do it. If you die, whatever. You saw a cool death, like kill cam style.
Could you implement Instagram into that? They could take a quick shot of that and then sketch best friends over the top.
Oh, instant postcard. Postcard. Saves it as a postcard, like in your Steam screenshots folder.
A really good filter, because if I'm playing with anybody that doesn't appreciate that, I don't want to play with them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? They could be like that. It's a setting you could turn off. Say like, I don't want to have fun. Uncheck.
You can picture that.
Or
you
check.
can swap it. Yeah. There's ways to make this happen.
Intimate gaming moments. That is it. That's our $1 million idea.
That's why Ethan is here, I think.
It's just like we just need a badass camera mode. Like, oh, switching to badass camera. Like, you could also have those, the bromance moments, but I also sometimes it's just me and I just want to look cool. Like if I jump in the air and I'm shooting, I want the camera to show me from the front, and from low looking up, and I want to see my guy's face. I want to see his teeth gritting. I want to see the muzzle flash on his face. I want to hear him go. Like I don't care if it gets me killed.
Let's get this guy hired.
God, man, we've had so much. We should really be making games.
We have so many ideas.
We would sell dozens of copies.
Oh, at least a dozen.
I'm sorry. I think I interrupted something less important, but go. You want to continue?
No, it's pretty much. We took it over, and I felt like I accomplished it. But I didn't have the camera angle to like really fulfill that moment, so I just signed off. But
yeah, that's
enough. Good. This was too awesome.
It was like, yay! I did it. Doesn't
go out on a high note.
That's what you got to do.
It's the smart thing.
So, also really mad at that game for not letting me have J Devil as my handle. It's too few characters. So,
which is JAYDEVIL.
No.
I've been
typing that that's to troll you, and it worked. What is that?
James Devil.
James Devil. Like another James that you like a lot.
Yeah, Jamiroquai Devil.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wait, J Devil Miraquai?
J Devil Miraquai.
No, that
you love Jamiroquai. It makes sense.
He really likes Jamiroquai. Like
he loves it. Show him your T-shirt. The one you have under that one.
No, he has that hat in his bag. You know, the one from that video.
The Dr. Seuss hat, yeah.
The one that he wore. That the one.
Virtual insanity. Yeah, I got you.
It's like
maybe that could be your screen handle, Virtual Insanity, because you love that song, because you love Jamiroquai.
The most random rumor to spread about someone that no one would care about. that I'm a huge Jamiroquai fan.
We got to get him tickets. We
You know what?
gotta coffee mug.
The
Something.
only reason I say that is because my brother and me were talking about that. I cannot take any credit
Okay,
for that
good.
at all. Jamiroquai has been stuck in my head. I've actually looked up that video and watched it maybe 15 or 17 times this week.
Oh
Man.
don't project onto me.
That's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I wish I didn't know that now. Whoops. Can we just rewind?
Beyond that,
I almost did.
I was really trying to bring up that Metallica video that you posted up
Yeah?
online with all the yeahs.
Yeah.
James Hetfield is like every song he ever sang had a yeah in it, and somebody on SoundCloud put together, I don't know, how long is that, 5 minutes or something?
yeah.
Just clips of all the yeahs. Yeah.
I was
like
I
dumbest thing I've ever
And
heard.
but I need him to do the sequel of the ooh.
I was
And then a
too busy
mashup after
wishing.
that, right?
I was too busy wishing I could find some marijuana so I could watch all 6 Star Wars movies on the same screen, because that looked like something like it wouldn't be enjoyable at all unless you were having some fun
Yeah.
by yourself with cats.
Yeah.
Oh, I just made it sound sad.
Yeah. I just hate Metallica now. I didn't really.
Why do you hate Metallica?
I was over them,
Remember
but now they're awful.
Remember they ruined Napster when everybody could have had all that free music, and then fucking
Topical.
Metallica had to be
Yeah.
like,
That's like
we wanna
12
get
years
paid
old.
for our
That's
Yeah.
like 12
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago.
And then there was that
What
really bad
bitches?
Flash animation that everyone watched 100 times.
That's my favorite Lars Ulrich
But I
impression.
think maybe that was the thing that led us to Star Wars gangster rap in some roundabout way, in like a Kevin Bacon way, which was great.
yeah, Bacon.
It all
Kevin
turns-
Bacon's
see?
great.
You should be thanking Metallica.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you, Metallica, for bringing
Yeah.
us Kevin Bacon. Is that
Yeah.
where we were
Yeah,
going?
yeah.
Yeah.
He brought him in. Yeah,
Yeah, for the
Hey, you
Jimmy
guys!
Dolan
Hey,
Shake and
Hollywood!
Bake.
Meet my friend Kevin. He's great. You're gonna love him. You're gonna be able to tie him to all kinds of different people with only 6 degrees.
Does Bollywood have a Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, Kevin Bacon is Bollywood's Kevin Bacon. He is everywhere
It still
nowadays.
works.
Dude.
It actually works in Bollywood as well. He's done. That would be so good if we opened up his IMDb page right now and we saw a bunch of Bollywood films that we didn't know he was in, that just never got released
Well,
here.
he just needs the one, and then you can connect him to all of them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
What else? Who else is playing games? What's going on?
Just real
More
quick.
games.
Beyond that, I built. This is kind of in the meantime. I actually built my PC. So I've been
We
doing
haven't
that
talked
whole-
about that yet.
No.
Shit.
So I've been doing the big conversion. PlanetSide 2, that stream made me nervous because it was like the day after I finished building the computer. I hadn't really
When
played.
mine wasn't working, my stream, like my software was broken.
Yeah.
And so thank God yours worked.
And it looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, it did.
So I've had.
Could you say real quick? I'm really happy. Like, I think right now we're all closer as guys.
Yeah.
All of us have
believe
PCs
it.
now. No one does not have a PC on the website, do they? Is there anybody
No,
without
because
one?
Cole came in right behind me.
Cole, yeah.
Coop
Coop
was
before that,
over the
Gifford before that. Yeah, and I think the only
Come on, Aaron. Let's get going.
and yeah, it's Aaron's turn. The next time
Aaron's got a PC.
Oh, does he have a newer one?
Oh, he's right. Yeah, he's
Oh.
like. Yeah, he probably.
Oh, I didn't know.
I think I always assumed
Yeah.
it was a console.
I haven't talked to him about it, so I didn't know. The next time this is going to happen for us, when we kind of all come together as dudes, it's probably going to be when we all have
Oculus Rifts.
garage tool shops. Yeah, or Oculus Rift.
Garage tool
like a
shops.
lot
Is that
of-
what they're called?
You know, just we have a garage
didn't
because
know
some
that
of us
was-
probably already have a garage, but like
Well,
an actual.
we're going to sell tools in our garage.
Nope.
Is that what you're saying?
Nope. Once we all have like huge tool collections and we have, so we can come over to each other's houses and go, oh, look at it, look at my nice, this toolbox I got, this, and this, look at all this. I got this really nice table saw. Check this out. It's when we have the tools. That's going to be the next. That's the other manly milestone, I think, that probably when we're all 40, we'll talk about. We'll have that conversation on our tool show.
I think I'm more with Verdian. I hope it's worth looking at our arcade machines because I'm not following you.
I don't think that's
tools.
going to happen.
Is Horrible Night just leading into a tool show? Is that
Yeah.
just what this is like the training for that? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, that was really fucking good. Who did? Was that you, Justin?
No, I thought it was Josh. And I thought it was terrible.
It wasn't that great, but
Oh.
maybe on Skype. Maybe it played on the stream. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe let me. Yeah,
I'm not doing it again.
I was excited.
Well, so computers.
You got a PC.
Boy,
You got a
I'm
PC.
really
You got a
derailing
PC.
us.
So
Justin's
I-
got a PC. Yeah.
So I pre-bought a bunch of games and have some duplicate buys from some console games I've been playing. So the first big game that I went back to play was Far Cry 3. I purposely stopped playing it on the console because like no, I need to experience this for reals.
Does
so
that look good?
looks
Isn't
amazing.
that not a
I mean,
really
I,
good
I
looking
mean,
game?
I knew that was also like the graphical. But before BioShock Infinite came out, like that was the graphical punch that I wanted to really
damn.
experience. And
Yeah.
yeah, that game's awesome. Still, but I did finally crest to the point where, I'm not. I guess I don't feel any pressure from the combat, as far as
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
when I was playing it for like the first 8 hours or so. I was really trying to, be kind of sneaky and take over all the camps that way and not get seen. But like, there's really not much
Now
consequences.
you're just Ramboing.
And there's really, at least where I'm at, there's really no threat to the combat. Like there's no, I mean, if you die, you die. Whatever, I'll just do it again. Like I don't feel any, I guess, urgency or so. I'm still just kind of messing around. But
That bullet missed your face. Let me try another.
but that magic's wearing off a little bit as far as just like, the allure of just going around and just fucking around on this island. So I'm actually like now I feel like I'm playing the game and just kind of turn that corner with it. So, but man, like I kind of had my first kind of. I found like two of my partners, like two of my crew, and had another good Voss moment around that point. And
Did you miss him?
I did miss Voss. Yeah, like I forgot. Oh yeah, this is the other reason to keep playing this game is to have these moments. But
I hope that guy gets jobs in the industry doing other
he's been doing
characters.
He kind of looks like him, like the voice actor does. So he's been trying to like do Voss videos and trying to write.
Really?
This is my
have
this
you
is my
seen
What?
it?
ticket.
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't know about
There's a
this.
series with him and what was that? What's that dude's name? McLovin. Who plays McLovin?
What?
Yeah, there's a video series. It's
Why?
Fucking, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
It was leading up to. I thought it was leading up to Far Cry, but then they kind of carried it on. So, it's pretty
Like
pretty
on their
intense.
own.
Ziggy's Mod.
Is it on?
That's
What is it?
What's Ziggy's mod?
Ziggy's Mod
Pro-
is actually it's
mention
a
in the
modification that just adds. Actually, it takes away a lot of elements of the game to make exploration that much more meaningful. There's not icons on. You don't have a mini map anymore. You have a compass. You don't have the icon, so actually you have to look for stuff. There's a bunch of other different little tweaks to it as well. But it just makes the game a little bit more difficult. So.
Because I mean,
You don't get a little handheld computer
I love that.
that tells you
stuff.
where you're gonna leap next.
Like
Yeah.
I love feeling that I could die just right around this corner, or just if I'm in this spot for and if I stay still for too long, a leopard's gonna come out. I finally met a leopard. That didn't go well. I also had the moment where I was doing one of the hunting missions, and I've been killing a lot of tigers at this point, and it was a hunting mission where you had to kill
Sick bastard.
a golden tiger, and I had just
Like made out of real gold.
yeah. I had just gotten finished with like a tiger had almost just killed me before I went in this mission. So I was being really
You're traumatized.
I was trying to like I'm gonna kill this thing before it sees me. And I spotted the tiger and like was like doing some really long distance bowing and I shot the
I imagine you doing Bowflex from like across the room. Like that's what I am. I don't know why.
Did you mean to say
Just like it works
bow?
better if you're closer, more resistance. Yeah.
I think bowing maybe is what you meant.
I don't think that's right either.
Rowing?
I shot the tiger once, and it ran off, I shot it again, and it ran off, and it just was posing no threat. I was like, man, I'm owning this hunting mission. And then I finally I kill him, and I run up and start to skin him, and I look up, and the mission's still going on to hunt the golden tiger, and I'm just kind of like looking down at it. I was like, well, I guess this looks like all the rest of the tigers. I thought, like, how different does a golden tiger look? And then the golden tiger pretty much just jumps right on top of me. It's like white with gold stripes, and
Wait, is that a real thing?
I don't know.
Or did they make that up for the game?
They probably made it up for the game.
No, but they
golden
didn't make
tiger?
up other
No,
shit.
I've seen them.
Man, they had stuff. I mean, they had some. I can't tell if he's fucking with me.
I don't know.
He's full of nope. I don't believe him. Nope.
This is my serious
Nope.
face. I know a lot about tigers. I'm sure at some point there's been a fucking golden tiger that people wanted to hunt so they can make ammo pouches out of it.
I do doubt.
I'm sure that's happened.
I do doubt the prominence of all the white tigers, because once I saw one white tiger, I saw like 3. So that was not true.
Hey, did you get killed by a cow at some point?
So I took down the golden tiger.
You're getting called out.
Yeah, Verdian was there with me, and right after I killed the golden tiger, I basically ran out back to the road and was just gonna walk by these buffalo, and they came at me, and 2 of them killed me. So after hunting,
I didn't even know
tigers,
they attacked. Like they had attacks.
Yeah, they're like listed as.
What do they do?
They're listed. They just,
No, I don't. Do that again.
they headbutt you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're tough, man. Cows can be
You
tough.
move
get
like
caught with them.
at half an inch, like they do. Will they nod? Like they acknowledge your.
I approve what you're doing.
How the hell does a cat like? It doesn't have horns.
Yeah, it does. These buffalo
These are
do.
bulls.
They're-
These aren't cows.
They're not bulls either. They're
right.
Yeah, but they're the
They're like
buffalo.
water buffalo?
Yeah, they're
Oh, okay. Then buffalo would, yeah. But it's like a regular, like a dairy cow. That's
No.
what I'm picturing.
No, it was.
Like did it like do some kind of cartwheel and slap you with the teats?
And when you scan it, it's listed as a predator. So it's like. But I was just like, I knew I was testing it, but I was like, I'm not going to shoot you, and it turned on me. So that was not cool.
You know what interesting thing about animals on there is, remember the cassowary, those birds that are basically velociraptors in that game?
God.
I looked those up. They're actually really fucking dangerous.
Yeah,
That's not the game just kind of like, taking that in a different direction.
They have like, do you remember when
the
in Jurassic
velociraptors,
Park,
man.
when Dr. Grant has the raptor claw?
Yeah.
Like these things have those for real, like probably bigger.
Yeah, they have big fucking claws.
They'll open a rib cage in one swipe.
Yep.
Cassowaries are bad. You should always avoid them in that game.
So that's,
Most dangerous animal. I basically, if I saw a group of them, I just threw a Molotov cocktail and a couple grenades and hope for the best. And usually died as a result of it. So yeah, so
that's been the big game I've been playing. Trying to balance it with Tomb Raider, which I've had a lot of problems with on my PC. We kind of sorted out over Twitter, and because I knew going into it, I have an NVIDIA card, and I knew the Tress effects,
Which is it's a hair mod.
was going to be trouble.
It's like, oh look, the hair's realistic. It really just makes it greasy. It does. It looks so dirty, and you turn it off, and you go, well, the hair doesn't look bad. But it definitely looks cleaner. And then what was the other thing you turned off? Tessellation.
And so I was still crashing, even though I had that turned off. But once I turned off the tessellation, it was fine. So that was like my.
That's frustrating, though.
That's ultimately what drove me away from PC. Like, there's just still that draw. I mean, okay, the visual impact of console games is so far diminished now compared to where PCs are. Like, it's now worth it again for me to make that leap. But just the fact that, like, I just want to play the game. I want it to work. I don't want to worry about this. Like, that was my first instance of, oh yeah, I have to worry about this with every game, and like I was nervous installing BioShock Infinite for the same reasons, and
and those settings should have never been turned on by default. That is totally on the Tomb Raider guy. Who the hell made that game?
Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah. Oh,
so
I was going to say John Tomb Raider. I guess that wouldn't have been right.
That's the problem. Is sometimes those, like, there are certain options that just should not ever be turned on by default. Those are some of them. I don't think ambient occlusion should ever be turned on by default, like, and especially because it doesn't really do a whole lot, but it just bogs down a lot of cards. Some cards that have problems with it, like.
And Verdian,
really
I thought
stupid.
they had The only reason I tried it was I thought they fixed it with a patch, but it's still buggy on my system. So I think it is an NVIDIA related thing. So, but that game looks gorgeous. And then, so I was just basically going through my library and revisiting games I had played on the console to see how much better they looked. So then I played a little bit of Batman Arkham Asylum, and just
yeah, what the hell? That was random. Like
I love that game, but I hadn't. I still
hold up after playing City.
I think it
kind of recently.
I like the combat better in Asylum. Like there's something heavier about it. Like it's
the size of his gloves, like the fists maybe are bigger.
I honestly think the character models are bigger, or it's closer, or something.
He was lifting before that game. I think after he did so well, Batman got lazy.
His boots are heavier. And then I was playing that, and the frame rate on that was just ridiculous. I was like, so that was kind of my proud of my PC moment. And then I installed the texture pack for Skyrim to check that out, and then started diving down that hole of what Skyrim mods should I?
Oh God!
I didn't start because I read like it's a huge process. Like to go through one of them that has basically the list of 250 things you can do to make it look incredible. I'll do that at some point, but I was not ready to commit to that.
We need to have a conversation about this. Okay, not right now necessarily, but I have to give a shout out to a website, SkyrimGyms.com. GEMS. It's not a mod that adds
a bunch of
gyms to go work out. Yeah. Although I'm sure that's there.
I thought it was just like a crowd of gyms, like 50 Jim Thompson, Jim Sullivan, Jim.
That's weird.
McIntyre.
No one else thought that. That is just really weird. So SkyrimGyms.com has just like the best mods. Just lists the best ones. And apparently, according to the internet,
I just want to find
that's accurate.
Whoa, internet?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many of them. I want to figure out what's the magic number. I've like the one list I was reading had up to 250 mods you would install, and I'm just like,
no,
can I just get
that's too many,
half a dozen or a dozen of these, and it'll take it to the next level.
But it depends on what you. I mean, it depends. Are you talking about visual mods? You're talking about fuck with the game mods? Because visual mods, I have 12. I'm pretty happy with 12. I've got 12 pretty solid mods.
You have ENB.
You can go above that.
I haven't played. I didn't. I played 40 hours of the game, but only got halfway through the story. Like,
that's not really that long.
So I don't really want the gameplay mods other than the Macho Man one. That's the only.
That's the only one. Yeah.
Don't do silly mods. You'll hate it.
Yeah,
I understand. Macho Man's fine.
No, you won't. You can have too much Macho Man. Now, if it was actual Macho Man in the game, that'd be one thing. But when wait a minute.
We're backtracking.
God damn it! I'm the one who rams the horses into the mountains and shit. And
I knew that'd throw you
off. Macho. Okay, so there's two Macho Man mods. There's the one where the dragon just sounds like Macho Man, and then there's the one where a 3D model of Macho Man's head and neck are put onto the dragon, but are still stretched out like a dragon neck
so
length.
It looks awful.
Yeah, and that one is good because that actually makes the dragon fights terrifying. You will shit yourself.
Finally, add some tension to the game. So I'm playing around a lot with. Anybody that's following me on Steam will just see me bounce between games left and right, just trying them out and trying to get my PC to flex a little bit. But it was really frustrating that weekend. I was building the PC because I was so immersed in gaming while building this, but not really able to game.
Yeah.
But once I got into the whole software install side, I broke out the iPad and
shit, Yearwalk. Oh.
I played 2 games. I'll start with...
What, you 2?
Yeah. Yeah, so the first game I played was Yearwalk, and this was get your headphones, shut out the world, really atmospheric adventure game.
What the hell is this game? Everyone's talking about it, and I have no clue what it is. Like,
I mean, it's an
give it to me.
It's like an adventure ghost story.
Like I'm a child. Okay. Oh,
Um,
point and click adventure style.
yeah, but
Whoa. Is it a ghost on an adventure or an adventure that includes ghosts?
it's an adventure that includes ghosts.
Okay.
Not, but
that's better.
And not the Ghost Adventure crew. Just clarifying for Ethan. 'Cause
I watched Grave Encounters too.
I need.
We'll
You
talk about that
asshole.
later. We'll talk about that later.
So Year Walk, one of the
Is good.
I keep using
Me.
one of the most immersive experiences on the iPad I've had since Sword and Sorcery, which I really got heavily into.
That was cool.
So it's point and click adventure except with iPad controls. I mean, everything you actually, it's really, really hard to describe because they take all the, it doesn't really tell you how to navigate the world, but you just know from using an iPad how the touch should work because everything operates on kind of a left and right panning, like where you're just kind of scrolling left and right on the screen, and you'll come across an area that has like footsteps and you kind of push into it and you go to the next layer.
How often? Because this is what everyone says. Like I hear people talk about this interface and how natural it is, or how like, oh, you gotta.
It's natural, but really.
But am I doing this 40 times and then go, oh,
no, not 40. Like
oh,
no,
I have a lot of aha moments with the interface because that doesn't sound fun.
No, it's just really well done, and like you're only scrolling, left to right 4 or 5 times to get to the edges, and then but you'll just notice these objects along your path, and you don't really know what they're doing, and as you dig in deeper, you
tap on them,
you find puzzle clues and start.
So are you completing puzzles? As like find the crank, turn the crank,
like kind of mist like.
Okay.
But just really really unique, and it's only a couple hours long.
Story stuff is present
cool.
and cool, or
because you're
it's not just all atmosphere, right? Like it actually has like a narrative,
right?
Okay.
It's kind of abstract at first, and I don't fully understand it, but I'm getting into it because it's just very very mysterious and but really really cool. Like one of the standout. Yes, somebody designed for this device perfectly, and it's a unique experience. I'm not gonna be able to have this with my mouse. Like it's just not gonna.
Really, the interface stuff is that?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't feel the same. It would feel kind of dumb, honestly. So, but it.
Wow. Okay. Wow, I just have to see it then.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in action, but I've heard a ton of people talking about it, and online, Twitter, all that stuff.
And then on the opposite end of the awesome spectrum, ridiculous fishing.
This is Vlambeer, right?
Yeah.
The Super Crate box and
then he joined up with a couple
crazy games.
He joined up with a couple other guys. I think maybe the artist from Super Brothers, Sword and Sorcery.
Yeah.
And somebody else did the music, but I mean, it kind of came across at first as the this is the app of the week or the app of the month that everybody's gonna be talking about. But like, and it's got all of that to it as far as. It's you can play it in short bursts, and everything's about leveling up and like unlocking the next thing to basically do the same 3 things over and over again. But the core elements of the game are so much fun and so over the top and humorous that like I love everything about this game, and the fact that there's actually a really interesting interview with why the game is priced at $3 and why they're not going to do microtransactions with it, and I really like their approach to that. So that kind of got me curious. Like, this isn't just going to be a throwaway Twitch app that, I'm going to play for a week and get my high score and never touch it again.
Well, let me describe this game on a kind of a higher level. You're a fisherman.
Okay.
You cast you cast the lure in, and it drops as far down as you can go for as long as you can dodge all the crap that's swimming back and forth in the water.
And you're dodging by tilting the iPad.
Yeah, and when you finally hook something, then the guy starts to pull it back up. But as you're going up,
you want to catch as many as possible.
You're trying to hook as many fish as you can on there, and you can get unlimited amount of fish on your lure. And once it comes up to the surface, the fish explode into the sky, and you have to shoot them with your shotgun to get the fish,
or whatever weapon you have. Like
other weapons,
like my double Uzis.
Yeah.
And
there's all kinds of it's intense, all the shit you can do. Yeah.
When I saw this game, the first thing that popped in my head was this would be so much better. And I'm not just how sometimes I shit on touch controls all the
Yeah.
time. I get it. I know. I'm
all
ass.
the time. Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
A lot of shit on those.
But I think you guys will agree this would be better with the Sega Bass Fishing controller and one of those Cabela's Big Game Hunter shotguns.
Somebody should make that.
It could be a co-op game. One dude does the reel and the other dude does the shooting, man.
Or
Damn,
I was actually excited.
We have so many fucking good ideas tonight.
I know.
I was actually excited about using the reel, putting it down, and then grabbing the. But you guys want to play
one
together,
one in
that's
each
fine, too.
hand, man. Reel up. Can you
Well,
do that?
you could do that, or you could one hand it.
Can you
And
do it with your mouth? Like,
And there's
I shouldn't keep doing that, but I'm going
no,
to.
you should not do that.
but all the upgrades are ridiculous. I guess, like I said, and there's apparently a story to it. I haven't even gotten to that point where. I mean,
It's a funky thing,
It's
man.
called-
Like,
It's called
What is it?
What's it called? Ridiculous Fishing: A Tale of Redemption. Like that's the subtitle.
I didn't know it had a subtitle.
Yeah, it has a subtitle, and then so you
there's like a social network in there, is it not? Though,
Yeah,
like that.
there's-
Like I was reading
there's
those
a
interviews. This really weird, like,
there's a mock Twitter account or Twitter app called Birder that is all the fishermen and like some of the animals tweeting about like
God.
all the like, oh, nice new hat, or I see you got the new gun, or just random shit. And
Man, that's really
there
awesome.
was like at one point I logged in and your character makes a reference like, listen to some Bone Thugs today, holla. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That had to have been really fun writing those fake tweets.
And so there's more to this than your average hot app of the week, and I really it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's basically kind of got 3 iPad games in one with the mechanics that it's got going on, but they're all fun, and it's worth it. So give it a try.
Oh man, it's like that is just about like one of the dumbest premises, but in execution it actually looks like really fun.
I also want to see like this
Blender.
game got ripped off a long time ago. There's a bunch of stories
ninja
about
fishing.
yeah, and I don't know if it. I don't know. I never played Addictive Fishing or saw it, other than it looked like it ripped off the art style and the basic mechanic. But I don't know if it had like the other layers to it of the, like how many different weapons you can unlock and how much different. Gear
So this
you
came
can-
out first, but they saw this game. And
Yeah,
then
it was.
Actually, this was a browser game
Yeah.
that came out, and then Ninja Fishing, I believe, is the game that came out on iOS
Okay.
devices, which was a ripoff, and then this was
Okay,
the
so they made a
updated version.
They
of-
must have
yeah.
made a
Ridiculous Fishing was the original.
Okay, Ridiculous Fishing for the browser, and they probably like bumped up the features and everything for this. Release.
So Flambeer does this with a lot of their games, right? Like because they did this with I don't know if they did this with Cratebox, but they did it with
that
Luftrausers. The God, how do, that the
Not
best.
Missile
It's
Command,
kind of
kinda.
like Time Pilot, if you remember that arcade game. And Sopwith maybe, like had a baby.
Me.
That's
Stop with.
but they have like a new version of it. I don't know what that's gonna look like when it comes out, but they have a version in arcades for the not in the arcades. Like they go to your local arcade. In the Winatron arcade thing, the indie arcade cabinets that go, every major city's probably got one of these somewhere. It's public. They all have to be public and free to play and stuff like that. But so they have an updated version of it with arcade controls. Apparently, it's really, really good. I think it's probably at PAX, both PAXs, and I think they're releasing that on platforms. But that was like a browser thing. You can play the browser thing right now, and it's awesome. But it's also, so I think it's really neat. Like they can just do these quick little. I think that was made in 2 days for a game jam originally. I think it's pretty neat. They just do those little experiments and then go, that was pretty cool. Let's turn that into a full game. I think Meat Boy, that was a lot of games these days seem to do that with the indie scene. Cool stuff. Cool way to get things done that the big boys can't do. Was that you have anything else, Justin?
That's pretty much it. There's a lot of other little things, but we'll come back to them another time.
All right, cool. Ethan, I want to hear what else you've been playing.
Oh,
While I take a potty break.
Yeah, take that potty break, and I've taken 2, so it's cool. So I've been playing the fuck out of Resident Evil 6. If anybody has been watching the streams as of late,
Oh man,
held on. I held on. I read all the reviews. Reviews weren't good. People were unhappy about this game. I because I'm in a different country and because it was going to be difficult to hook my PS3 up, I haven't even taken them out of the box since I moved to Germany. I thought I'm just going to wait for the PC. Maybe by that time things will be ironed out, even though that's not usually how things work with PC. But whatever. We'll see how it works out. And I don't know. I'm pleasantly surprised with the experience.
Yeah.
Not because it's an exceptional game, because if you watch the stream, there are moments of pure, just unadulterated, just frustration, anger, and even hate it sometimes. Maybe even a little bit of racism, not directed at any sort of race in particular, but all races, equally.
But mostly Japanese.
Mostly.
Okay. Because
the biggest issue with Resident Evil 6 is it got like I'm going to call this brutal legend syndrome, okay? And here's why. Is in Brutal Legend, it was a game that was comprised of a bunch of different things. Throw them all together, and none of them were really great, and they all turned out to be kind of a mediocre package. And Resident Evil, for some reason, decided, what we should do is all the other Resident Evils have been received relatively well. What we're going to do is we're going to include, some gunplay, some martial arts, a bunch of chase scenes, essentially a racing scene, some snowmobile scenes.
Wait. During some of those scenes, were they just QuickTime events, or sometimes were you actually controlling it with a stick?
You're actually controlling.
Really? That I didn't know.
There's a fighter jet scene.
Wait, what? Wait, I knew about the jumbo jet thing where Leon's.
No, a fighter jet. There is a jumbo jet. There's also a time where you're controlling a fighter, a VTOL, and you're controlling it. Not great controls. You're controlling it.
Oh my god.
Yes. There's a lot of that random. This game made Call of Duty look like just like a real tame, kind of like an elementary school production. It is the most incredibly insane game I've ever fucking played in my life. If you watch that stream, in the very first, in the tutorial mission that you take part in, okay, and there's going to be some spoilers included with this, so if you're concerned about having Resident Evil 6 spoiled, I apologize, but I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it right now because it's just too hilarious not to. So in the very first scene, you're actually in the future, and you're Leon with Helena, and you're kind of getting, going through the motions, but you basically wake up from an explosion, and there's a helicopter shooting with all these zombies in front of you, and you rush out of the way and whatnot, and you move on, and then you walk out on the street, there's all these zombies, you start shooting them, and then the street caves in, and then that all explodes, and then you're running from a fireball, and you're not going to make it, and then a helicopter comes down, a dude jumps out of the helicopter, like, come on, get in here, and you're like, okay, let's do it, and then you jump in the helicopter, and that starts going, and then the pilot gets shot, and he's like, oh shit, and the helicopter's going out of control, and then Leon has to jump in, then Helena escorts. You don't control the helicopter at this point. There's a couple quick time events. Helena pulls this is the fucking tutorial mission. I'm talking about the tutorial mission. Okay, this is showing you how to play the fucking game, and this is the kind of shit that's happening. Helena pulls the pilot off, sets him down. Leon is doing a quick time event, like, oh shit! And by the way, every single character in this game can fly every sort of aircraft that's ever been invented. And so he pulls Helena back, and she pulls the pilot back, and you're sitting there, and then suddenly, the pilot almost falls out of the plane, and Helena does this like really heroic grab, pulls him in, turns around. He's a fucking zombie. He attacks her. Leon turns around, has to shoot the zombie while he's fucking piloting the helicopter. The helicopter fucking is going all over the place. Hits a fucking train as it's flying. Crushes through a building. They run out of this helicopter, get to the ground. They land on the ground, and they're like, oh shit, that was close. They look below them. It's a big glass pane. Beneath them, all zombies. All fucking zombies. They're like, oh shit. And then suddenly you hear a creak. They look up. The helicopter comes crashing down. Fucking they jump out of the way. That is the tutorial mission of this game.
Man, if I was Michael Bay right now, I would have just
Michael
7
Bay
orgasms. The biggest mess in my pants.
It is like a Japanesey version of every Michael Bay movie ever created. It has that element of just pure, like, this doesn't fucking make sense, but whatever, let's throw it in there. Your characters are suplexing people. Okay, I'm in the Jake scenario right now. One of his quick time moves that he can do is he does a German suplex to the zombie takes him off. Leon does a DDT.
Whoa, that's awesome.
I mean, there's all kinds of this stuff going on.
It's got wrestling. It's got planes. It's got trains. It's got choppers. It's got VTOLs. It's got zombies. It's got guns. It's got rocket launchers. It's got Nemesis. I mean, it's got Troy Baker.
I mean, it feels like the game was constructed from just a checklist of stuff we have to have.
And I get that sometimes it's probably not fun to play, and I'm going to play through it soon. Thanks, Mike, for that wonderful gift. I'm going to play through it soon. I can't imagine if I just know going in that sometimes some of the gameplay stuff is maybe not gonna, it might get frustrating, but just like enjoying the set pieces, like I cannot imagine not having a good time with it at this point. I'm glad I didn't play it at launch when it launched on the consoles. I'm glad I didn't then, and because we were all just like so disappointed. Like we had these like high hopes, and then everyone else was playing it, and then so none of us played it at the time. That was crazy because we were on the hype train after playing the demo.
Yeah, we were.
That came with Dragon's Dogma. We're like, shit, that was actually pretty good. And then everyone's, whoa, this sucked. And I think maybe a lot of people were expecting a different game too. Now that we know what the game is, and we like all the things you just described are our favorite things.
And don't get me wrong, there are some parts in the game, and actually Justin can attest to this, that just suck, that are just miserable. A snowmobile chase scene where you're escaping an avalanche is just a prime example of one that was just so frustrating. It was awful. That sucked.
But it's awesome to watch, though. I bet that was, like to look at.
Yeah. It was. Oh, it's probably. Well, I mean, I died about 7 times, so it wasn't.
I mean,
after a while, it got kind of. But I mean, there's parts that like you get, like basically how I can describe my situation or my time with this is that you get pumped up, and then something happens, and it's like a pacing issue that doesn't. It's not like that. It's like boring. It's almost too exciting at times, and so you kind of, some of these set piece battles kind of blur into each other. But then you hit moments like in Leon's scenario, which I kind of got the impression that everybody liked that one the best, where you get halfway through it and it's just a fucking drag. It just like it. You're like, oh, like I wanted to be done with that. And I was looking forward to his, but then once he got to China, which China, holy shit, that's like I thought China was gonna be the worst part of the whole thing because that looked like the more actiony part. That's where the game fucking shines.
Okay,
that is where everything is happening.
All right, let me build on the hype train here. I think China is where I jumped in on that stream when you're playing. That Leon was there. Okay, so that's where the plane. That is when the Leon jet, or the big the passenger plane. That's okay. Wait, let me just from the outsider's point of view. Like I didn't know, I had no setup. I turn on the stream. Here's Leon and who's his
Helena.
Helena?
We're going with Helena.
Larry Croft.
Larry Croft.
Check.
What are you doing with that salt cube?
4 in a row.
Damn it, Leon. So they're on a plane. There's zombies on the plane. They're shooting the zombies. The zombies back them up. Somehow the plane is damaged or the pilot gets killed. I'm not sure how that happened, but
can I just add? The pilot turns into a mutant.
Okay, so that happened. And then so they get into the cabin and Leon grabs the flight stick while Helena. What do you say?
Larry.
We'll say Larry.
Larry. So Larry
struggles to pull a granola bar from one of the children's hands, and yeah.
So she's fighting off the zombies while you are flying this plane, crash landing it really, but not dying. Like Leon grabs the controls, lands the plane somewhat safely. And then like moments later, he hotwires a bus. Like a big metro bus. Hotwire straight up. It looks kind of not in good shape, and he just walks right up and he's like, I think I can get this going, and he hotwires it. So they drive the bus, and then Moments later, they're on a train, and some guy with a little Texan tie and a mustache turns into a mutant, and they have a big fight and he turns into a big super zombie horse. And then they're shooting
I love that band.
Shooting at that thing from
toured with Rob Zombie.
and then they're shooting at that thing from a train, and another train kills it. And then Chris Redfield looks down on this wreckage from a jet, and then he's like, he's just flying a jet. And from my perspective, it was just for no reason. It was just him like, oh damn, I'm in a jet. Like, it was just the sequence of events was so crazy. And Leon meets with, I know that there's like 3 separate games here where you play as Leon and Larry, and then you play as Wesker Jr. and Sherry Birkin or someone, right? And then you've got Chris Redfield and Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
And and they're like 3 separate campaigns, but I saw all those characters in this 5 minutes of this. Somehow they all meet up. There's like Chris is on the ground and then he's in a jet a couple minutes later, and I'm not sure how that worked, but he probably just had it parked on the roof. And then like Wesker shows up, and also in this short stretch of time, slow-mo grabs someone and dodges out of the way of a flying car. He does this twice, and it was just it was one of the greatest video game like sections, at least like slices that I've ever seen. Like either I didn't see the frustration and all that kind of stuff. Like you were just playing really well, maybe at the time, I don't know, but just from watching it, I thought, wow, everyone was wrong, because this is one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
And the frustration only came for the mini games and some of the quick time events, and it wasn't horrible. But I will say, I do think everybody was wrong, because if you can't enjoy this game, if you can't fucking enjoy this game for the insanity that it has, you are, one, an asshole, and 2, you don't know love. You don't know what love is. You'll never find love. You'll be forever lonely. And when you die, no one will cry.
I want to know what love is, and I want Resident Evil to show me.
Here's the thing: it will show you, because
I don't want it to.
And I'm gonna segue into a very sad moment that actually occurred today, and this is going to be a spoiler, and I just want everyone to know this right now. Okay. One of the best partnerships of all time, the best bro-related partnerships, is Chris and Pierce.
He's never met Garrus.
Oh, you know what? I haven't met Garrus. Okay, I get it. You guys can hold on to your sci-fi Garrus. I'm talking about real potential. When you think about actually being able to make bros in the future,
real man, humans.
We're talking about men, real military men with muscles.
Real commandos.
Not with tentacles where their dicks should be, with muscles.
Garrus has nothing.
Garrus, okay. Are we going to compare Garrus' penis and Pierce's penis? Because someone's going to win by a long shot.
Keep talking.
Long shot. Okay.
I'll sort this out on Google image search.
Google that. So Piers and Chris have this in the very beginning of the game. Chris Redfield, after a devastating event where he loses his whole team, including a rookie named Finn, who he told at the beginning of their mission that you're going to make it through to this, buddy. You just pull it together. That was an emotional part too. But Piers basically, after Chris goes into an alcoholic, like, I can't do it anymore, this is too tough, Piers brings him back in. And they set up this friendship there's respect, there's mutual respect, but Piers looks at him like a mentor, and Chris is just trying to keep it together. And they go back and forth, and at some point Chris's vengeance against Ada Wong, who Ada Wong ended up killing his team, it just gets control of him, and Piers pulls them together, and they have this moment. It's fucking a tender moment, and you can see it, and you can see in my eyes just well with tears when I see this moment. Is Chris looks to Piers as they get into a Humvee armed with a machine gun to chase down a bunch of Chinese dudes in similar Humvees. Did you find the dick?
I found the dick.
Okay.
I didn't find. Hang on, I'm looking for Piers. I'm gonna have. What's his last name? I'm sorry to interrupt
Piers
the story.
Morgan. Nivens, Nivans. I'm sure there's Chris and Piers love pictures. But anyway, they get in this vehicle, and Piers this whole time has been like, Captain Redfield, you can't let your vengeance get in the way of the mission. And Chris is like, you can't tell me what to do. I can't lose any more guys. He doesn't really have that accent, but you get my point. And Chris comes to realization that Piers was right. And he looks down and he says, hey, you're right. I am running away from my past. And Piers just has this look of satisfaction. And then you see at this moment that no longer is it just Commander and, a soldier. It's friends, mutual friends. And they just get so badass and they fly a jet together and shit. And then they go and they start to attack an underwater base. deep beneath an oil rig.
God.
And Chris turns to Piers and he says, hey, before we begin this mission, I just want to tell you, after this mission, I'm gonna turn in my gun. And Piers is like, you can't do that, Captain Redfield. And Chris goes, no, you're the new generation. And at that moment, my heart sank because I knew at that moment one of them was going to die. I knew for a fucking fact. And you get in there and it's like, okay, maybe they won't. Maybe that's just too easy. It's too easy for one of them to die. They've set it up too much. And they go and they're shooting all these dudes. They're being fucking heroic. They fought snakes. They fought all kinds of crazy shit. And then they go toe-to-toe with like a jellyfish with a human skull. Weird shit. Really weird shit.
Wait, what?
It's Ada Wong's, and I need to get through Jake's mission to really fully, pull my head around what actually happened. But she has this big cocoon in the middle of this underwater base. We're in the middle of an underwater base, mind you. We were in China, then we were on an aircraft carrier, now we're on an underwater base.
It's the hardest game to follow by someone describing it, but I love it.
You have to watch my stream. It makes so much more sense. No, it doesn't actually. It doesn't make any sense. But so the cocoon opens up and this jellyfish thing comes out, but it's got a human skull. It's all like,
Josh just showed it to me.
So basically, they're after a chase sequence happens and they're fighting this thing. They get to this moment where they're running through these tunnels, and the thing bursts through the tunnel and it slings Piers into a wall, and his arm gets like on the spike, like the shrapnel. He's
damn.
Oh shit. And he's injured, but nothing bad because we all knew that Leon got shot in Resident Evil 2 and he still fucking fucked everything up.
Yeah, people get shot and stabbed all the time.
All the time.
It's okay.
And Chris is like, oh shit, no, my bro. And then he goes, and then the jellyfish thing kind of slams him down, and then this big fucking piece of metal hits Piers in the arm. Now that his arm's severed, it's gone. It just there's sinews like hanging there.
Oh god.
And he's sitting there, he's like, no, and Chris is about to die. And he fucking lurches forward and pulls his body away from his arm. He pulls his own fucking arm off because of the friendship he has for Chris Redfield. As this happens, he's bleeding to death, dude. There's no chance for this
were
fucking
you
guy.
tearing
He's
up?
done.
Were you tearing up?
Dude, you can just watch this stream and you can see, like, I'm at this point like, oh shit, what's going on? He goes walking up and he finds a vial of the C virus that they took away early on. And he's like, dude, I've only got one chance. And he fucking plugs it into him, and his arm sprouts into an electricity shooting like hand.
What?
I don't know why, but
wait, what?
He basically
does he get a
injects himself
revolver?
with the C virus, and he mutates into something like a jellyfish himself. They can shoot electricity out of his arm.
Okay.
He injected himself with the shit so he could save his bro.
Man.
And so they're fighting, and you're like, oh shit, that's the end of him. He's gonna, he's dead. He wasn't dead.
He's done.
And so they keep building up that maybe there's a possibility because Jake has a serum in his blood, and you talk about it a little bit. So you're gonna get to the end of it, and it's fine. But then you fight another boss battle, which was a shitty boss battle, but that's fine. And fucking, so Piers is shooting his electricity, you're shooting your gun, slash and shit. You're like, oh, and you're like, and Chris is like, Piers, hold on to your humanity. And he's like, I'm trying. Just shooting shit. And like, oh, you're like, oh, fuck. And you beat the boss. And Piers is like, I can't go on. Or he's like, I can't go on. And Chris is like, you gotta go on. And he pulls him. You're like, dude, they're going to go against all conventions. He's gonna survive. It's gonna be fine. They're gonna be buddies for the rest of time. Resident Evil 7 is gonna be about them opening up a coffee shop. The coffee shop getting attacked by zombies, and they just save the world again. And they're walking through, and then they get to the fucking escape pods. And they're there, man. The finish line is right fucking there. And Piers is looking shitty. His face is starting to peel off. Green shit's coming out. He's got multiple eyes. He's struggling, but he's held on much longer than most anybody else has. And so Chris opens up the escape pod. He's like, come on, we got to get in there. And Pierce grabs his hand like he's going to go, and then he pulls his fucking hand away and pushes Chris in, slams the door shut. And Chris says, no, we open the damn door. It's like fucking Armageddon. It's like that scene in Armageddon when fucking Willis throws Affleck back in the fuck. Because he knows, man. He knows someone's going to die here. And Pierce knew he was going to become a monster, and he wanted to die on his own fucking terms. But regardless of that fact, it was sad. And so you shoot the escape pod off, and Pierce is just looking there like, man, I did what I had to do. Well, guess what? That fucking jellyfish monster is not fucking done yet. And it's coming at him, and it's coming at Chris, and Chris is like, fuck. You know what? My buddy's dead. Whatever, dude. Just take me in. Suddenly, from the fucking underwater base, because, again, we were just in an underwater base, in case you weren't following me, electricity shoots out. The biggest bolt of electricity you've ever seen in your life traveling underwater. And it hits the jellyfish monster and fucking just fries that shit. And you knew that was Pier's soul fucking flying from his body on its way to heaven, shredding the fuck out of a jellyfish monster so that Chris could escape. And then the game ends, and you see Chris in the very same bar that the game began in. And he's not drinking. He's eating the steak that Pierce was eating at the very beginning when he said,
The same steak?
Hey, they've got good steak here. Yeah. And Chris, he cuts the steak, and he takes a bite. He looks at the camera kind of like, yeah, Pierce was right. This is good steak. And then a fucking BSA soldier walks up. A new, fresh-faced fucking rookie. Says, Captain, we've got a new mission. Because Chris was going to retire. And he looks up at him, and he says, all right, I'm in. He didn't retire because he knew that's what Pierce didn't want him to retire. Fuck.
I'm not even joking. And I'm not even talking just about video games. That was the greatest story I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, this game should be on the top of
Can I show you what my screensaver is right now? Is that appropriate?
Oh yeah, sure. You want to guess? Yeah. Oh man, I know we just spoiled Resident Evil, and if you're listening to this live, maybe we'll put a warning in or something for the audio version. But if you're watching this,
you guys didn't warn
sorry, I didn't hear warn, but that was the greatest thing I've ever heard, and it was one of the best tellings. I think you just put this podcast on the map. I just want to say that was. God damn it! Okay, so that makes me want to play the game even more, and I want to have a bro, just in life. Like I just want to lose. I want to lose my arm. I think I want to be that guy. Like, who would you want to be in that scenario? Because
I'd have to be Piers, man. Because you know, the sadness that I got comfort food. I've been trying to eat better. I went and got macaroni and cheese and fucking chicken and some fucking cookies because I was so sad that Piers died.
Man,
I fucking like emotion ate, like when I come back. Like I'm always kind of like that in games and movies too. Not like, a dog could die and that's real sad, but when a good bro dies and he dies sacrificing himself for his other bro because of a jellyfish fucking monster, that hits a dude in a place that just is, it's tough for most people to hit. Like doctors can't hit that spot,
Oh. Justin?
There were no words.
Yeah, I'm struggling to. I don't even know. Should we end the show there? I don't even know how we. Oh my god! I
don't even talk about it anymore. I'm like. Go buy the game. Support, man. Support his fucking memory, dude.
Resident Evil 6 out on PC now. Did you want to talk about any other games, Ethan?
No.
Okay.
Literally, my life has been. My life is. I actually, at the end of just if you go watch the streams, we'll probably make some highlights out of them. But go to, I think maybe it's part 4 of my stream at the very end. I literally spend about 15 minutes talking about how upset I am And Verdine, I think can be, he bears witness to that. I was not happy, but fuck, I'm sweating.
So I did a little bit of research towards the beginning of that story. Obviously, I'm not going to show the photos. Don't worry. Jeez. However, Garrus, I think, wins on there. There's like almost a carapace, but I think Garrus wins just on sheer like size, I guess. But we all know that's not the only factor. Piers not only knows how to deliver it, but he also knows how to take it, apparently, too. If you just want to look up, I mean, you're welcome to go to Google, and I would you can look at Piers and Chris Redfield and just maybe put fanfic or any word for phallus at the end of that, and you're going to get some great photos. And then Garrus and penis. That should get you the picture that you need, and you can do your own comparisons there. Just that. I mean, I'm not advocating like that kind of juvenile, stuff. I'm not turning it into humor, but I know there's a lot of people probably listening right now that really care. They really wanted to know the answer to that seriously. So I know I did. It's for science. So yeah, Justin, you want to update us on horriblenight.com? What's going on this week?
If we can get our name as close to that description as possible, I'd appreciate that. What? I don't know what's going on. So Ethan is finishing his playthrough of Resident Evil 6 this week on our Twitch channel. You can catch him live throughout the day. Probably, you might have that wrapped up Wednesday or Thursday. You're into part 4.
I will have it. Yeah, I have to have it wrapped up Wednesday because I'm leaving Thursday, so It will be done. I'm about halfway through Jake's scenario right now. So
that's that's your final scenario. So catch him live on our Twitch channel tomorrow. See how that wraps up since the game's already been spoiled for you. So,
well, that's not just one. Yeah,
I'm
sure that probably sold more copies than it did piss people off.
Okay. We also, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we had our first horrible game night. We're going to try to do more community live streaming where you can join in and play along with us. Not really sure when or where that's going to be, but trying to do at least monthly. You may see them on our Tuesday night streams, or we're looking at some weekend options because, as you've heard, our crew's kind of getting their PCs beefed up, and you will be seeing more of our crew streaming throughout the week. Right now, it's kind of been primarily Ethan and myself, and we're trying to pull in the crew to play with us, but I would not be surprised to see others kind of taking the helm as well, and we will promote the Horrible Game Nights in advance and let you know what games we're playing and when we'll be playing it, and you can jump in and play along with us. That was a lot of fun last Tuesday with PlanetSide 2. Yeah. We'll probably do that again and find other similar accessible games.
Yeah, and thanks for everybody that joined us on that one. It was really fun playing with everyone.
And then as far as the rest of our events go, we're trying to plan another Horrible Night Out. We haven't had one in a while in the Indianapolis area and trying to find the right venue for it. I would expect sometime in the next month or two, I do want to do a farewell to Rock Band night. So if I can find a location to actually say goodbye to Rock Band properly, I'll look for that in the Indianapolis area sometime this spring. So is that actually their last DLC is next week.
American Pie, Don McLean. Yeah,
it's a good end, and also just like at this point, like what songs don't they have that would actually be stand out, and they found one. So
that was wow, pretty fitting, and I can't believe they hadn't already had that out.
Also recommend checking out. They had a PAX East panel kind of overviewing the entire Rock Band experience, saying farewell for now. And
heard that was good.
So you can, I think I linked that to that on my Horrible Times article this week. So
cool.
Check that out. But beyond that, I hope you've noticed. I've noticed, at least on Coop and I have noticed on our end, that the site is performing much better. Had a couple of rocky weeks there, but the site is finally up to speed, and you will start to see, because of that, we'll start to see a few more articles each week as we can dedicate a little bit more time to our writing and more video content. I've got a Louisville Arcade Expo video coming your way this week, and then also working on a compilation of all of our PlanetSide 2 highlights. So beyond our daily highlight videos that are up on our YouTube page, and then our podcasts, we're still working on some featured videos, and additional original written articles are still coming out weekly. So,
and if you guys enjoy this stuff, like our podcasts or the videos or the articles, let us know. Like post please comment, send us email, like ask@horriblenight.com. You can send stuff there, or you can catch. There's a million different ways to get our contact info, or you can just post comments on the site. Let us know what you want to see more of, and with the stuff you enjoy. Sometimes a lot of people, we'll enjoy stuff for a long time, and then we find out that, they've been watching stuff for 6 months, and I, didn't even know they were enjoying it. So it's always good to get feedback. It's hard when you're sitting on the other side of it, which, I was for so long, and I had no idea. I'm like, wow, it's really important to the people that making stuff that somebody actually says something. And
yeah. Otherwise, we'll never know if you want more trucks or less trucks.
Right, yeah. And I'll personally thank you. And Ethan's really good at drawing pictures of people and stuff, so he might do that even, or Photoshop.
I'll draw a picture. And you know what? Tell your friends. Bring a buddy to the podcast. Have a night where you eat chicken wings and popcorn.
Have a viewing party. Plug in the computer to the TV. Maybe bring it up full screen. Have a viewing party.
Maybe about video games. We talk about life too. We get real serious
about
things.
T-shirts into the crowd. It'll be T-shirt night.
If we could do that, how cool would that be?
I guarantee everybody that is here tonight in studio will get a free T-shirt.
Wow, that's great. Look under your chair, Justin.
Well, yeah, we got laundry, right?
Cool with that it? All right, cool. Yeah, horriblenight.com. It's a cool website. Go check it out. I don't do a whole lot there these days, but you can always catch me on the podcast. Anyways, all right, thanks guys. Thank you, Ethan, for sharing that. I know how hard that was probably for you to
relive.
Yeah, really, to relive that really story. Was. But
I wasn't going to open this beer, but I had to.
I think I speak for everyone and say, and I just want to say thank you for opening up like that. It was very interesting. Thanks, Justin. And thanks to the live audience as well. It's always fun seeing you guys in the chat there and hanging out with us. So we'll see you again in a couple of weeks for Super Game Best Friends. Well, next week we've got The Horrible Show. You can catch us on that. Ethan, will you be around for that? You're going to be out of town still.
I don't know. I have to ask. Got to ask the missus, but I should be.
If I'm really, really lucky, by the time we have Super Game Best Friends again, I'll have an arcade machine built.
Whoa!
Maybe I could talk
hold
about
him to that.
Yeah, I need to set a goal there. All right, thanks guys, and we will see you next time.